in your rivers, and it takes me deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams. Somehow out of reach, eluding me until I release. You come close to me when I believe, and I let you take the lead when I believe. My heart starts to see when I believe. When I believe, you said, "Come to my garden, eat from my tree, step in my river, let it take you deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. You walk out, you're able to carry my peace. It's an ancient sound heard from the ones who came before. Now it's here once more to pierce your soul. A simple melody playing over and over in your streets, like a whirlwind turning things, tearing up the dark. That's where I release, and my heart starts to sing when I release. I let you take the lead when I release. You come close to me when I release. When I release, it's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound. All in your feelings, your emotions, they find me out. It's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound. All in your feelings, your emotions, they find me out. When I let it go, when I let it go, when I let it go, I let it all go now. I let it go. Hey, now
When I let it go. What's up, everybody? We are live here on a Tuesday night. I got the fellas with me in the building, and it's live from the Lion's Den. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's get into it.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
That's right. Tuesday night. You know what that means. We're live in the Lion's Den. And I got the fellas with me. You're watching Young Lion TV. This is the Young Lion podcast where we come together and talk about issues, things that are going on in the world, things that are important to us, things that we want to just conversate about and see if each other's opinion is we agree, we don't agree. Sometimes we debate on things, but it's also about us building a community of people that love each other and look out for each other, and everything is based on our faith in Jesus Christ. So we want to welcome everybody who's watching for the first time. And if you have been here before, shout out to y'all. Shout out to our Patreon members. I see people checking in on the chat right now. I see Theris. I see Jeff. I see Courtney. I see Malcolm. I see Tom. I see Mustak. Yo, shout out to y'all. Make sure you guys share this video and hit that like button because we are live and the algorithm does not appreciate what we talk about. So we need y'all to support. That sound like some stars were sent through. Shout out to Theris. Sent over 100 stars already. We appreciate you. If you're watching on Instagram right now, thank you to the people that have been joining in on Instagram. I see a lot of people join the live. Just bear with us because we don't know how to get the aspect ratio correct in the Instagram live using the Wirecast system that we have right now. So if you do want to see the full stream in full view where you can see everybody, you can go on over to our YouTube channel or Facebook or even our Twitter. It's on Twitch, it's on Rumble, streaming all simultaneously. So just go to the link in our description on Instagram and you can access all of those channels from there. But yeah, if you want to become a member, you want to support what we do, what we talk about, maybe later on in the conversation, you're like, man, I want to support these guys. You can head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/youngliontv, and you can become a member over there and sign up to be a part of the Pride over there where we, we get together sometimes. We get up with the people that are Patreon members and we become a family. So shout out to y'all over there. Again, like the video, hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Rumble, man, drop a comment in. Let us know where you're watching from. And without further ado, you see the guy sitting right next to me. He happens to be the coolest Asian in the world. And his name is Mr. Chang Simone, Mr. Simone Chang, a.k.a. Moan, our brother. He's rocking.
What's up?
The Young Lion merch along with me. He's got the black tee. I got the white hoodie on. And you can go get that at our merch store as well. It is available right now for purchase if you want to support and be a part of the Young Lion cause. You know what I mean? Show the people that you are down. You are a young lion. You know what I mean? And then on the other chair, we got the most confusing man in the world. He looks black. He eats Indian. But he has a Spanish last name. And he is an islander. He is Mr. James Garcia.
That's right. From Trinidad and Tobago.
With a nice sweater on.
Yeah, man. He's looking snazzy today.
Snazzy.
Used to you coming in here with paint all over you.
Paint on my hands.
Yeah.
Mr. Diversity himself.
Mr. Diversity. And then keeping it going, my big brother. He's got the Young Lion hat on. But he's everybody's big brother. If you know, you know. Anybody in the circle know he's everybody's big brother. Always been everybody's big brother. He is the preacher, the teacher, the people's reacher, Mr. Jacob Eugene Evans III. And we just had a weekend where we got together and went to our dad's old house and went through a lot of his old stuff. Yeah. You're named after him. He's Jacob Eugene Evans Jr. And that was an experience, man.
It was.
It
was fun, man. Got to go through all our old trophies.
Yeah, I know our old soccer, baseball trophies.
Yeah,
and
yearbooks.
Yeah, crazy
pictures.
Back down memory lane. Do our senior trip pictures, all of our high school pictures.
Now, as you're saying that, it should be some flashes.
I know. I should have scanned some.
We
you can see how big our clothes were back then.
Yeah,
that's back in now.
Yeah,
the first CD we put out.
Yes,
as a group.
Yes.
What was it 2003?
2003. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the outfits from that. It was in a bag.
It was in a black bag.
Keep that.
Yeah. No, we already threw it out.
Nah,
dude, I had remember the baseball and the basketball shirts I used to wear.
Yeah.
That were like 4X.
Yeah.
Found all those.
Yeah. The jersey. That was the jersey era.
Yeah.
With wearing jerseys and headbands. Remember that era?
No.
I found a water.
You don't remember
jersey.
that era? I know you didn't wear it, but you remember the era.
No.
I found the Eagles a Waters jersey.
Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And a Bobby Taylor jersey.
How big are those?
Big.
They're pretty big.
They're all big.
Yeah, but it was a good time, man.
For
It was a good
Halloween,
time.
you all should go dressed as the former Jatan.
Yeah, dude, we found a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff.
Mo
man.
puts on the goggle, it snaps.
Yeah,
That was actually pre-Jatan.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's-
The
that was
jerseys,
earlier.
That was like
That's
that was the
our-
DMX, the locks.
Yeah, yeah.
That was that whole
Young
era.
Guns.
I don't know the side of you guys at all.
Hey, man, we've been through. We've evolved. We're young lions, man. We're young lions. Like Simba was out there eating bugs at one point. Remember? But yeah. Also, I found. Well, Jake found in that same bag my old. Remember the old Anichi biker jacket I had that I wore the first time I met you at Adelphia's with your
I
sister.
do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, he
You
found
have it?
that. I think did I send it to y'all?
The white and blue. No, I think you
I think it was in the young.
you sent it.
Oh, I sent it to
different
Stan and
feed.
Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent it to them. Let me see. I think I could pull that up so you can see just for example how big it
As
was.
soon as I saw that, I was like, "Wow."
In Nietzsche.
Okay, Bob, pull this up, please. Yeah, this.
Yeah, make that screen bigger though.
Make
Can't
it bigger. Make it
It's
bigger.
so small for them to see.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it on the You could put it full screen, Mom. Next to the camera angle, there's one that says Jamie's PC.
Oh, Jamie's Mac Pro?
Yeah. There you go. Now get rid of that. The little one. I got you. Yeah.
I mean, the show, it's big.
It looks raggedy.
Well, it was sitting in the
I
bag
mean,
for
it's-
10 years.
Yeah. 10 years. It's like it's almost 20 years old.
20 years.
Well,
Almost.
I'm saying it was in a bag for 10 years
Yeah.
because it is almost 20 years old because that was 2003 when
Yeah.
I wore it. And I actually wore that on one of our flyers too.
You did.
The,
Oh,
the
yeah.
first flyer that we had,
right.
I was wearing that jacket. But yeah, I that's why I put it on because that was the jacket I wore on the first date with Liz. Yeah.
You'd never catch him in one of that now.
Nope. I mean, I would wear one, but a black one. I wouldn't wear big Anichi logo anymore. That was the time. Okay, Mom, you can go back. Go back to cameras.
Oh, okay.
I got you, Mom. I got you. Nope, you're clicking the wrong one. I got you. I got it. There we go.
Still there.
Yeah, because you brought it up at the
Oh,
top.
there we go.
There we go. All right. So anyway, yeah. So
All right, you're not used to doing that.
yeah, that was different for you. I threw you a curveball. But yeah, man, it was an interesting time. But keep it going. Speaking of the woman over there clicking those buttons and pushing buttons, trying to help us out, is our mother, and we love her very much, and she's the best producer in the world, Miss Angelique Lopez. Not related to Jennifer.
But she was a dancer.
She is a Puerto Rican from New York, though, and she was a dancer. That is correct. But yeah. So, other than that, something else happened this weekend. All of the NFL championship games happened, and we have a Super Bowl set in motion, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. How do y'all feel about this? There's a lot of speculation going around the internet about what this means regarding a Psyop. Have you guys seen any of this?
I've been hearing
The
that. but
conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a few of them, but the colors are different though, right? Because they were saying the colors were purple and red, right? They said that they showed that it's fake because I think the last few years it's always been the colors of what the teams were, and
Wait, what? I don't know this theory.
so there's a theory where they come out with a logo for the Super Bowl, with the Roman numbers or whatever
Yeah.
like that,
Mhm.
and they're always colorful,
Mm-hmm.
right? And whatever color it for the past few years, it has been what team
Yeah.
it's been, but they released this way before the season is even starts, I think.
Okay.
And the team that has there's a majority color, right? But the team of the color that's like least is always the team that won. Like last year, it was like green fading into red, and the Chiefs won.
Right.
So that's what the theory is. I don't know.
That
you
is
know.
such a reach. I have not heard of this nonsense.
But this year they were saying it's going to be
Baltimore and the Chiefs,
Baltimore Ravens versus the 49ers.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens is purple fading into red.
Right. Okay.
But
Well, that
Baltimore,
failed.
That failed. Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
the 49ers to win.
See that like this is the thing. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I want both teams to lose,
Me too.
just because like there's a few 49ers fans in our circles that are annoying as heck about it because they're still butthurt from how the Eagles beat the 49ers in the championship last year.
Right.
So they want this is like their revenge, you know. They're annoying about it. So I don't want them to win, but I also don't want the Chiefs to win because of Taylor Swift.
Why everybody's saying that? Why is Taylor Swift? She has nothing to do with it.
It's just so she has everything
dating,
to do with it.
She's dating the dude,
Yeah, she's not on the
Travis
team.
Kelce.
Yeah, but every chance they get, they
Well,
show
yeah.
her on camera.
They connect
Of,
her
of,
to
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, because you know they're
It's
gonna,
for ratings. Yeah, they're
ratings,
trying
yeah.
to connect the youth, her audience
Yeah.
to the NFL and get them because most people knew, a lot of young girls especially knew nothing about the NFL until Taylor Swift started dating
nothing
Travis
about
Kelce.
Travis. Yeah.
Yeah, so they
So-
know both the Kelsey
So
brothers
do you
because
think?
of that.
Have you seen? I know you've seen the conspiracy theory about the relationship between.
That's what I
Travis-
was getting at.
Travis.
Yeah.
And,
I haven't heard this.
Well, because a lot of people believe, well, you know, Hollywood has a tendency to do PR stunts, and they do it with relationships.
Oh, yeah, of
sometimes.
course.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are, you know, pointing out how this relationship doesn't seem real. It seems like it could be a psyop.
Dude, because he's been the face of things.
He came out
Bud-
with vaccine commercials,
Bud
right?
Light and Pfizer.
Yeah, right before they announced this relationship, you know, and also, it's even just like his girlfriend before that, wasn't she black?
Yeah. He,
And like he was more,
he
his
li-
swagger was more into the black chicks.
He liked the black girls.
You know what I'm saying? And then you go to Taylor Swift, you know, who's totally built like an ironing board, and like and she's a 34-year-old, like been with multiple people. Usually guys that are like, you know, you talk to the red pill, high value men. That's not who they're checking for. You know, and it's
but she is, you know, uber famous.
yeah, but that doesn't. So is Oprah. You don't see nobody from the
But she don't
NFL
look like
dating
Oprah.
Yeah, she's pretty still.
her. She don't look like Oprah, but she don't look like Beyonce. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I think she's pretty, but I don't know. It seems weird. Like that's not his style.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's always been, you know, all the black
The
girls,
swaggy-
the black
swaggy,
girls.
yeah.
Oh, he you know, he dances, he does all
Right.
these, you know, the Dougie
toned
and
it
stuff
down.
like that.
Yeah.
When he's, you
He
know,
still does it a little bit. When he did the cop stash, I was like, oh, it's a black girl repellent right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But he did that after her, right? Didn't he?
No, during.
No, I'm saying he did that after Taylor, right?
Right around when they started,
Yeah.
he had the mustache.
That was his signal to black women. I'm done with you.
I mean, it could be. I mean,
And then the way the NFL is just like, because people are saying that as soon as she became the face of like this relationship between her and Travis Kelce, everyone was saying, "Oh, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl no matter what. It's rigged." You know what I mean? And there's plenty of video. I don't know if you've seen them during the game where they're pointing out stuff that, you know, seems shady.
it seemed like I've watched some games where it's like they want the Chiefs to win.
Yeah.
Like I saw 3 flags thrown in one play, all against the Chiefs, and they pick it up. They huddle, the referees huddle, and they pick it up. The dude from the Chiefs took his helmet off in the field, and you know what that is.
Yeah.
That's an automatic 15 yard.
Yep.
And they picked it up.
Wow.
So it's like you know,
A couple of calls on the Ravens too were missed.
I didn't-
against Ravens. I watched it. I could see.
Yeah. I mean,
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know football the way you guys do. So
I didn't see the whole game. I just watched the recap, and it seemed like, Lamar Jackson threw a bunch of picks, and he messed up. He had some mistakes,
yeah, I didn't watch.
and that's
that
why
game.
they lost.
I caught the tail end of the last game though.
Yeah.
The Lions gave it up.
They gave it away.
Gave it away.
They gave it
Gave
away.
it away.
Yeah.
Why not go 3 scores up?
the memes were funny though. It was Eminem versus Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. If Detroit had won, it would have been Eminem there and Taylor Swift there.
I was
That
rooting
would've
for
been funny.
Detroit.
I was rooting for Detroit too,
I wanted them to win too.
just to shut up all the San Francisco people.
It's not. It's not so much. The guys in our circle.
Yeah,
Mikey is a little annoying, but we go back and forth. But it's more so the team itself. They're arrogant as heck, and they've been talking smack ever since.
yeah.
They don't win or lose gracefully. To me,
Yeah, well, I just thought that was interesting. I
like the 49ers quarterback.
Okay.
That's a good story.
Yeah, he has a good story.
I just saw stuff on him today, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a believer.
But
Yeah.
the way he was explaining himself, and
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is a believer too, isn't he?
Is he?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
but again, everybody can say they're believers. I just like his character and what he was talking about.
Yeah,
I never heard Patrick Mahomes speak in a way that like really grabbed me.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of generic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kermit, you don't like Kermit the Frog?
Frog.
Well, I will show
He
this.
sounds like Kermit the Frog.
So this is a tweet from Jack Posobiec, and he said, thinking about when Taylor Swift called out the Soros family in 2019 for buying the rights to her music, and then how she came out as a super liberal in 2020. And then Vivek Ramaswamy responds, and he goes, I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month, and I wonder if there's a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially, culturally propped up couple this fall. Just some wild speculation over here. Let's see how it ages over the next 8 months. And this was back January. This was when I don't forget when Vivek posted this, but he was predicting that they were going to the Super Bowl, and then a lot of people are saying that they're going to use this relationship,
Of course, they've been doing that
to
though.
endorse Joe Biden. to make it a political thing.
Right.
I mean,
And what
we
did
know,
she do?
Huh?
What did she do?
She endorsed him back in 2020.
But it'd be funny though if Joe Biden said, "Thank you, Russell Crowe and Goldie Hawn." He messes up.
No,
Yeah.
she endorsed him.
Oh, did she endorse
I
him
think
again?
She endorsed him recently because I think I saw a Newsmax article saying that Taylor Swift can change, shift voters.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
Taylor Swift can shift voters.
I saw they were trying to make the case that she had a record-breaking number of people register to vote after she endorsed the candidate. But then when someone actually showed the numbers, it was like it went from 17 people to 24. So that's like that's a record number of growth. It's like it's not actual. No, it was like 8,000 people, honestly. Like it wasn't really significant. But in that age demographic, a lot of people don't vote. So if you get a couple more, it seems like a huge record-breaking growth. And then people, but I did see a ton. Every news outlet, especially left-leaning ones, were trying to get ahead of this and were putting out stories saying that Taylor Swift is igniting a right-wing media frenzy with pundits that think the Super Bowl is rigged and the pop star is a psyop. And I saw so many articles about this. I'm like, that's what got me lit, because I didn't even realize that people were saying she was a psyop. And then I kept seeing them talk about it, like right-wingers. This is from Variety. But I saw every news article talking about right-wingers are going on this Taylor Swift psyop thing. And it made me look at it like, okay, maybe there's something to it. Because anytime they go that hard to try to like debunk something and they're like writing all these articles about it, it's like, okay, maybe there's something to this. Let me look at it. But
I mean, it's not hard. It's just funny to me that like people want to make these conspiracy claims when it's like plain and obvious.
Yeah.
It's not like something you got like, really? Oh, maybe that's really happening. Yeah, it's happening. Like, not even that it's a psyop, but that she's all sold out. Like,
right. Do
look
you
at-
think she's bought by the Soros family?
I mean, I think
they own her catalog.
she's bought because of how the music she does.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at what she does, how she does it, you know,
Her
what she-
imagery.
yeah, all that stuff. And especially now, it's getting
Yeah.
worse and worse.
Yeah, she's talking about being a witch.
Yeah, her last tour, like what's going on that tour. So
Did you see that Joe Coy had to apologize for his joke he made at the Golden Globes about her?
no,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it.
Like, what? Really? He made a joke about her.
I didn't know
And he had-
Joe Coy
Hosted.
Hosted it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, everybody was clowning him because they said he did a terrible job, and I think it was like mostly about because he made fun of Taylor Swift, and it wasn't even a horrible joke. Here, I'll play it so you guys can see it real quick.
As you know, we came on after a football doubleheader. The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. I swear. There's just more to go
Look at
to.
her face.
Sorry about that.
That was-
Why wouldn't you
that
think
was
that's
the-
funny?
That was the joke.
That's
that was
not
the
even
joke.
that bad.
Who tunes in to watch this?
But he apologized for that,
She made him apologize.
bro. So it kind of ignites the flame of that. Like, why is she so powerful?
keep your name out my mouth.
Keep my name out.
It
your
would be
mouth.
funny though. Is
That was the same vibe, right?
right as the camera turns to her at the Super Bowl, turns to Kanye West. Her old nemesis
Yeah,
is back
right,
because you know who he's endorsing.
You're right. Himself.
No, Trump.
No, he's probably still think he's running. Yeah, but so the Taylor Swift psyop is in full force now. The conspiracy theories are flying, and the Super Bowl is going to be just that much more annoying because of it.
Yeah.
Every time they show her cheering, and I remember I saw one clip of her trying to make people do like some trendy dance. What was it called? The swerve or something like that.
With his mom.
Yeah,
mom was doing
yeah,
it.
in the press box. Yeah.
I swear.
I think I forget what it was called, or the
know.
surf, something like that. I don't know. I'm too old to know these young dances, but yeah. Go ahead.
We won't be here for the Super Bowl.
Oh, it's the weekend we're gone.
It's
that day.
It's that day. It's that night.
Yeah,
Wow,
Yeah.
because our show's on the 11th.
we're gonna be in Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So we won't have to see it. Yay! And Jamaica don't care about the Super Bowl, so we ain't gonna even be a big deal out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel bad for you guys.
Well, we'll be in Kingston. We won't be, at the beach or anything.
Nah, go ahead. Go enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. So, what else? What else? So, you guys heard about the attacks in Jordan?
No.
The World War III was trending again because there was some attacks that they're attributing to Iran in Jordan, and Biden was talking about how he was going to respond. So I got a report here from CNN.
Wasn't Jordan like attacking trade ships?
Yes.
All the countries that supported Israel, they would,
Yeah. But this attack killed U.S. service members.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah. So it says, this is from CNN Politics. President Joe Biden told reporters Tuesday he has made decisions about the U.S. response to drone strike that killed 3 U.S. service members and injured dozens in Jordan. Asked by CNN's Arlette Sains, Whether he has decided how to respond, Biden said yes, but declined further details. I wonder why. The Sunday attack on the small outpost was the first time American troops have been killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the beginning of the Gaza war. Administration officials have feared the outcome since the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel because it would require a strong American response with the administration, which the administration has worried could lead to a broader conflict. Yeah, like a World War III. So we got that looming. We got what's going on in Texas looming. You know, I'm sure you guys have been seeing what's going on there. You know, the border is getting crazy over there. Illegals flooding in like crazy, and they're trying to protect their border, but then the federal government is trying to stop them from protecting it. So then they were trying to engage the National Guard, and then the federal government is telling the National Guard to stand down, and then it's just getting crazy.
Illegals are allowed. They're being allowed to do that, you know, because
Yeah.
there was a time. Like, I think just like how I was listening to the news, and they're changing the language. They were calling them asylum seekers.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Right? None of these countries are at war. You know,
Yeah.
it would be like they're not under religious persecution.
Yeah.
Just because your economy is bad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But just the verbiage of the language has been changed from undocumented. It used to be just straight up illegal aliens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear them saying
you don't hear them saying that
illegal.
anymore.
They
And
either
it's-
say migrants or
Migrants. They don't even say that migrants anymore. They used to, but now it's just asylum seekers.
Yeah.
But even like, think about what a migrant is. A migrant is somebody who travels around to get work.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, so all these words they're trying to use,
Yeah.
they're not even making
It
sense.
softens it.
It's wizardry with language.
Right. And that's how you know, like, the media is controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
They
none
all
of-
use the same
They're all
language.
using the same language.
Yeah.
When you couple those clips together
Yeah.
of the verbiage of undocumented illegal aliens to all of a sudden asylum seekers,
Yeah.
there has to be some corporate heads that get together and they send this out and they're like, "This is how we want you to say
Always.
this."
Yep. And it comes from some legal team or some PR firm.
Right. That's not the news people saying that.
Yeah.
You know.
We've all seen those videos, you know. Those,
No, someone did that. That's no the one
Yeah.
we've all seen him, like you said, but someone put it together and they're like, "Have you noticed the verbiage?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Actually, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I noticed that."
Yep.
You know.
Let me show
Ja-
this.
Jamie says that all the time. I'm sorry to cut you
Go-
off.
no, go
but
ahead.
You always say that. Pay attention to new language. Build
Yeah.
back better.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you hear something,
Yeah, when they're changing things, and they're like, "Why? Wait, it's illegal aliens." Like, it went from illegal aliens to immigrants,
Yeah.
right? To migrants.
Yep.
Now, what is it?
Or
Asylum seeker.
undocumented.
Asylum seekers.
Undocumented.
Undocumented. That's
Yeah.
another thing. But it's
Yeah.
all to take away the blow of illegal.
Right.
Because when you hear illegal,
Yeah, asylum seeker don't sound that bad.
Right. No, it sounds like you need to have sympathy for them.
Yeah.
It's even more of a spell.
We gotta help them,
Yeah. They need help.
right?
They're a victim.
when I used to, this is when I was a kid. When I had a green card, right? I used to think it was cool when people asked me, what are you, or where you're from, whatever. Well, I am a permanent alien. It says that on my green card.
I'm illegal. That's what it says on it. It said legal resident.
It said permanent alien.
Yeah.
But on the card that I had.
did you watch the video I sent you, Jamie?
Oh, Courtney said it's swag surfing. That's what it's
Swag
called.
surfing.
Yeah. Thanks, Courtney. You are the dancer, so you would know. Shout out to Emma. He said, "Greetings, guys." What's up, Emma?
Yeah. Another actual immigrant.
Yeah, yeah. Man, we know a lot of immigrants.
I'm an immigrant
especially
too.
from
Yeah.
playing
Two
playing
immigrants
soccer.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Legal.
What video are you talking about?
The Tommy one. Did you watch it?
You sent me one?
I thought I did. Maybe I didn't.
I didn't see it.
And I thought I did.
Well, let me play this video real quick because this is from 2021, and this is Joe Biden in
Wearing
his
a mask,
in his ultra mask.
By himself.
Yeah, in his fake Oval Office scenery.
I'm signing is creating a comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration and to manage migration throughout the North and Central America, and to provide safe and orderly processing of asylum seekers at the United States border.
See, migration and
Yeah.
asylum seekers. None of those things are true.
But he's signing executive
And
orders
third-
back in 2021.
Yeah.
Order I'm signing is restoring the faith in our legal immigration system and strengthening immigration and inclusion efforts for new Americans.
Strengthening inclusion efforts means opening the border for tens of thousands of people a day to come in
Yeah.
without any restrictions at all, and then giving them $5,000 and so putting them on a plane. So they literally have them go to someone, and if they hear them make a phone call and someone picks up, they can get a plane ticket to wherever that person is. Like insane. But yeah, so he was signing these executive orders to undo all of the things
Stuff
that were
Trump
in
did.
place
Yep.
and more inclusive. And now all of a sudden, it's not his fault.
Right.
I've seen them articles talking about how that what's going on in the border is Trump's fault.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to say now. But yeah, this is him back in
No,
2021.
people are coming because they know what's going on.
right, and they're saying that.
Like, you don't even need to listen to the news. Things get around, especially when you know how when something's free. Oh, did you hear about Wawa? They're giving out free coffees.
Yeah, yeah,
when,
Word of mouth, baby.
yeah. When stuff, they're like, oh, did you hear about America?
Yeah.
They're giving out free citizenships.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're giving out cell
You
phones.
can get health insurance.
Yeah, you can get a gun.
Right.
You can
I-
vote.
Meanwhile, sorry. Meanwhile, we have veterans that are, that have all these issues,
Yeah.
PTSD and,
Yeah.
mental illness, that are
Right.
homeless, that serve this country. People can just come from anywhere,
Right.
and get free stuff.
Real
Sure.
quick, shout out to Brendan, another immigrant, but he's from. He doesn't count because he's a white immigrant. They don't count them. They don't count them. Sorry.
Is he from the north?
he's from Ireland. But he said, took me 2 years to get into this country, following all the paperwork stuff. Exactly.
You went the wrong way.
See, brother, you got to go. You got to come in through the South. You can't be-
What never made sense to me though is just even the way it's being reported, right? But let's just imagine for a second something catastrophic happened to the United States.
Yeah.
Where we had to leave. Where or not we had to, but people were just leaving because of what, let's say economic or whatever, right? Imagine where you're living in your house and you just see a random bunch of people just walking. Do you just come out your house and say, "Where you guys going?" And just start following them?
No.
Oh, we heading off to America. How far is it? Months
Yeah,
of travel.
yeah.
Let me grab my infant and
Yeah, right.
let's all get along here. This doesn't make no sense from a logistic safety standpoint, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this: use your own deductive reasoning to see that this is planned.
Someone's funding this.
Someone's funding this.
Yeah.
This is not just a bunch of people sitting there. What are you doing to it? Well, I'm just digging yams and just hanging out. What are you doing? I'm getting ready to cross the border. You want to come?
Right. Right.
Like, it doesn't work like
Let's
that.
find 50,000 other people that all want to leave on the same day. And
No.
we'll walk up together and make a statement.
No, something is happening. This is
Yeah.
planned. Plan, reaction, solution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, watch the verbiage. When you slowly the verbiage have changed. You know, the optics. There's a lot of optics. There's a lot of things. You know that you have to pay. You have to do more than just watch the news from just collecting information for your day. You have to watch how it's being framed. Him with the mask. Him saying that word.
He's sitting at a desk signing
asylum
executive orders
seekers.
with a mask on.
You know, it's setting a tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
You know, and for the many of the people who live in these sanctuary cities, it probably didn't sound that bad to them.
Yeah.
Until they were getting kicked out of shelters,
Yep.
until they were getting kicked out of certain things, until Eric Adams started asking people, "Hey, by the way, can you guys open your homes to these people?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't
Yeah.
have any money for veterans. We don't have any money for the fix these potholes or pension.
Yep.
But if you can open your homes.
Hey, you blacks over there, can we borrow your school for a week? We're going to send all
Sure.
your kids home and they're going to learn from home and we're going to put these migrants in your school.
Even the footage you showed of the airport of curtains.
Yeah.
This is not a bunch of people showed up and they're like, "Hey guys,
We gotta do
quickly head to
something."
Target,
Yeah.
grab some curtains, block this off."
Right.
This is organized.
Yeah.
This is something bigger than just these people are We just need to help him.
Yeah.
This is planned.
And there's taxpayer money going to it. I'm in Denver right now. They're protesting and they're having all these issues with migrants that were promised housing, promised all these things, and now they're just out in the streets. They're robbing, they're stealing. But Denver is a sanctuary city. You know, so now they're having all these issues.
Denver, Chicago, New York.
Right.
like,
Yeah,
They
Boston,
don't.
Philly.
They don't think.
Philly. Yeah.
Well, so what is the? You said his plan. What do you think that the end is?
I think
Why are they doing this?
right. I think you know, like I said, there's a plan. They watch the public, the citizens react, and then they come up with a solution.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's going to be a mixture of the cyber attack thing plus chaos in the streets, because they know that if people truly get together and work together, Americans, it's going to be hard. There's not enough jail to put everybody in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be hard to really police people that want to cohesively work. But if you can have situations where you have people who, when people are desperate, and I'm not faulting them because they're just taking advantage of an opportunity that they see, right? So when people are desperate and they start to react in a certain way, just like when you look at any major storm, any major catastrophic event, watch any grocery store the night before something catastrophic happens,
Yeah.
and watch how American citizens behave with toilet paper
Not even
and water.
catastrophic,
Seen
dude. The threat of an inch of snow.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
I've
the
seen-
way they market it is like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
They do. It's the news.
Right.
They scare people. I've seen young men, like grown men, steal water from an old lady. You know, and I had to step in and say something like, "Yo, dude, just give her that water. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's not that serious."
So if they know, like the collective of human experience, right? If they know that that's how people behave with something so small,
Yeah.
imagine on a bigger scale when whatever they're planning really does come to fruition. They know it's going to be chaos to the 12th power.
But why do they want that?
I think they want to destabilize this country. I think they want it to not be a nation anymore. I think they want to destroy what this country represents to the world.
What does it
The
represent?
freedom that it has, the Constitution that we have. No other country has that.
Right.
So if they can get everyone to just not believe in that anymore, it doesn't exist. If they can get everyone to turn their back on what we say we stand for as a country, that's all they need
Right.
to do. They just need to change it in our hearts, and then it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
The Constitution is just a piece of paper.
Right.
Right.
You know, and I think it's multifaceted in a way where the people that are pushing this agenda, it benefits them in many ways. A lot of these Democrats that want this to happen is because they're looking at their voter base change. They're looking at how they're losing the black vote. They're looking at how they're losing, like they lost Florida, they lost Miami-Dade County, which was, heavily Democratic. So they're looking at it like, okay, if you think about it, just do the numbers. If 10,000 people plus are coming in every single day, you look at that at 100 days, that's 1 million people. Right? If you put that over the span of a year, 6 months, you know what I mean? Like how many new voters is that they can bring into the country to then promise them things to then have a new voter block that they can keep their stronghold, especially in these major
Yeah.
cities that are sanctuary cities. So if if the residents there are fed up with this, the reason why I think that they don't care as much is because if they flood in these cities with millions of new people, that's going to offset all those votes, and it keeps them in power.
Yeah, there's only so much. There's only so much co-opting of voting that they could do.
Yeah,
There's only so much ballot fraud that they could do.
exactly.
So they can't keep doing the same. Oh, you got me again.
Right.
They have to come up with other things. Plus, there's another aspect of it where, from a managerial standpoint, when you look at California's homeless problem, when you really look at the economics of it, and Joe Rogan did a way better job than I'm about to do, but he broke down it from an economic standpoint. It is actually more beneficiary for the people in power to actually not fix it, because the more they linger and they delay, they're making billions of dollars
Absolutely.
Yeah.
doing this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's no financial incentive, because here's the thing. there's no punishment, there's no deadline, there's no nothing. These people are being reelected over and over again, so it's just a big money grab.
Yeah, we've mentioned that talking about San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know how people are making 3 figures.
Yeah.
They get all this funding, and they want the problem there. They
What-
want the
If I'm making $400,000 a year to fix the homeless issue,
As
do
a
I
ta-
want the homeless issue to
No.
get fixed? I'm going to
No.
lose my salary.
Right. This is great for me.
yeah. You need all the poop on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need it to be
I don't
horrible.
live there, so I'm good.
I can beg for more money.
I guarantee you, if there was a law that if you wanted to be in politics, you have to go to the worst part of your state or your city to be. Like, let's say they change and say, hey, listen, you want to be the governor of New Jersey, you
Yeah.
have to go. You have to live in Camden. You have to start. You have to start there. Guarantee you that everybody's
They
quitting.
but you see, like when they sent the migrants to Kamala Harris's house, or they sending them to these people's houses
Right.
that are advocating for this, they don't
Sure.
like that.
Yeah, because the politicians that's advocating for this, their kids don't go there. They don't have to go to that health provider. They don't have to live in that city. They don't have to go to a grocery store. They don't care. They're not part of that.
Did you guys see when those people showed up to Nancy Pelosi's house? How she treated them?
I didn't see that.
Hold on, let me
She
show
opened
it.
her doors up
Show-
and gave them
Ice cream?
water and her fancy ice cream.
$27 pints.
Brendan said, "I want my 5K." I hear you, bro.
Me
They got
too.
gypped.
Shout out to Denver. He said, "Hey guys, it looks like it's part of a setup for a one-party rule. Could be. I mean, it's a setup for something." Brendan said, "Did you see Great Britain plan for illegal immigrants?" I know that Europe
to
is
Africa?
Europe is even crazier.
I think
bro.
Rwanda, they're sending them back to Rwanda.
Well, that's the thing. Like what you said, Jamie, and that's what I wanted to get to is freedom.
Yeah,
Because America is one of the last free countries
Yeah.
in terms of law.
that's because we got these guns, baby.
Second Amendment.
Because if you look at Europe, if you look at a lot of these places, like in the United Kingdom, they're putting people in jail for misgendering people.
Yeah,
For something
in
that's
Canada,
Same
too.
thing in Canada.
Same thing in
something
Canada.
that sounds racist.
Yeah,
Right? Anything like I remember a woman put up to honor like a friend that died. She put up lyrics from a hip hop song that said the N word in
N-word.
it, and she got she got fined.
wow.
Yeah, she had to go to court for it.
Wow. Crazy. He said, yes, Rwanda, to try to deter them making a dangerous trip to the UK. So they're threatening to send them to Rwanda.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they're offering, sort of.
Oh, offering?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a threat.
No more Francis Ngannou's.
But let's show how Nancy Pelosi reacted when people showed up to her house.
Most of your constituents walk beside you. Stop the genocide. Stop the Holocaust.
The Democrats want the ceasefire. The Democrats want the ceasefire. The Democrats
She said, "Go back to China where you came from."
Now, the best part about this is a husband at the back door with a hammer. Like, where's the guys?
She said, "Go back to China."
Yeah, dude. She
Where-
said that. But she
where's
meant it. She meant it she's trying to say that all of their talking, this is her spin on everything now, that that she thinks that everyone that's a pro-Palestine protester is being paid by Russia to cause well, this is not what she thinks. This is what she's saying.
She's just putting it
To
out
spin
there.
it.
Yeah.
To show, because, people are saying, like, why are so many Democrats, why are so many leftists
That they didn't expect.
yeah, being pro-Palestine
Yes.
and supporting Hamas. So these people are calling for ceasefire at her house, and she's telling them go back to China. No, she said go back to China where your headquarters is. She's trying to act like that they're all part of that Russia-China regime, just trying to stir up problems in the U.S. And that's why they care about this. That's her spin for the whole thing.
Right.
That's because that's what they want the media to tell people, just like they did about, the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. They always try to put it off on some kind of, some anti-intelligence or espionage thing where it's like, oh no, they're trying to subvert us. But meanwhile, they're subverting us right under our own noses at all times. Yeah. But so Greg Abbott, he said he's not going to back down. They're going to continue to secure the border there, even if they want to come after them. He's talking about they're going to put up a fight. So people are talking about secession. They're talking about Civil War territory.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy. There's a convoy on its way down there now from a bunch of different states.
Did you see the excuses though? Like why they want that down for the safety of the border patrol people?
But
Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Actually, the Border Patrol came out and said that they're backing Governor Abbott.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you know, it's these people have been part of this for years. These people have worked there, and they've seen the death and dismay that comes with that, and the amount of human trafficking. Because part of this too is not just people seeking quote unquote asylum. It is a bunch of the trafficking that's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The human trafficking.
Not
And
only that,
fentanyl.
Yeah. Not only it's the terrorist.
Yeah.
We played something
last week.
Yeah.
I played the dude who was a
dude.
terrorist leader who came across and telling them, you're going to find out who I am.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You're gonna find out who I am.
And it's not. And again, it's not just. Here's the thing that's crazy about this. It is not just what we would assume is Latinos. They're Chinese.
Yeah.
They're African.
They're
Middle
Middle
Eastern.
Yeah.
You know, so they
And they're
obviously figured out.
young men.
Yeah, they obviously figured out that if they come through this, someone is being told, do this.
Yeah.
This is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me show you guys this. This is from the beach in La Jolla in California. We were there.
Oh, I saw that.
And these dudes came in on a freaking boat. So is that a cop right there who
Yeah,
just
they're
watches them?
He
No,
turns his siren up.
I think it was actually the lifeguards.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it
It
does
was
look.
like
There's
red.
a red. It's a red truck. Yeah, okay. But they just unload off this boat and just run into the neighborhood. Like, just leave the boat there.
It's a nice boat.
And if you know, like La Jolla is one of the richest neighborhoods out there. It's beautiful. Yeah. So they just
$1 million homes.
Since we're talking about this, the one video I sent is about this. The one with Ruslan
when did you send me that?
today.
Let me see.
It was the last thing I sent you.
Oh, I may not have saw that last thing. Oh, okay. I got it. Yep. Okay. That was about that? Okay.
It's about the border.
Okay. Let me play it. Hold on a second, Mal. It's opening up.
It seems like globalists are in charge of what's going on now. They eventually want to get to a one world government. That's their goal. And but here's what both of us are going to be accused of, Ruslan, by talking about this. If you're not for an open border, somehow you're xenophobic or you're racist or something, right?
Yeah.
Now this is the kind of simplistic analysis
White
that people need to
supremacist.
avoid. This is a much more nuanced discussion than just calling somebody who says, I think we ought to have a secure border, a xenophobe. Because everybody believes in secure borders. I always ask people, you have a lock on your door? Oh, you do? Why? Because you know that security is important. You agree on a border, you're just disagreeing on where the border is. That's right? Yeah. Everybody has a lock on their doors. People are inherently evil, and we need to protect ourselves from evil. What is coming across that border? I mean, as Christians, we should want people to have freedom, but that doesn't mean we can uncritically accept people in this country without proper screening.
Sure.
I mean, we have terrorists coming over. We have drugs coming over. We have children being trafficked over. And Biden has turned a blind eye to all of this. Mayorkas, the head of, what is he, he's the head of the border. I can't remember the government agency he's over. But he's now about to be impeached. He won't be convicted, but he's about to be impeached by the House because he's not paying attention to the border. He's allowing all this to go on. And we don't need a new law. We just need to actually enforce the laws that are already on the books to fix the border crisis. And Biden can, in a heartbeat, do an executive order and go back to the Trump law.
And just release them back to back, which would make less people probably come
That's
over.
right.
I think the compromise of the bill they're trying to pass is the Democrats want 5,000 encounters a day before the border gets shut down. The Republican wants 3,000 before the border shut down. And I'm like, these 3,000 or 5,000, whichever it is,
Shut it down.
are they still coming over? We meet them there and they come over? Like, how does this? I'm so perplexed. Okay, let me ask you this. If you had to steelman this from the Democratic side, what would your explanation of this? Because I was talking to my wife about it, and I'm like, I really don't see I don't understand. Like, are they concerned for birth rates? So we need more immigrants, like
votes,
or votes? Like, what is it? Like, so if you have to give a good faith steel man.
Well, I have not seen any arguments from that side. Maybe I just missed them. Have you seen any arguments?
I haven't.
No,
I haven't.
they're just turning a blind.
Their argument is we need to be inclusive and we need to accept these people because they need help. That's their argument.
Yeah.
That's all they go with.
I think part of this too, from as a believer, from a Christian standpoint, if you're going to say this, one of the things they should do is they shouldn't say Trump law. Name the president.
Yeah.
The Constitution of the United States. Go back to protecting the border. Just specifically name that, because once you attribute that to a president, good or bad, it becomes about that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's just saying the laws that were actually already there.
Yeah.
No, I know, I get it, but I feel like I've heard enough of this that it just sounds like the Trump law, the Obama law, the Bush law, and it's like, no, it's not. It is the Constitution to protect the border against both foreign and domestic.
But that's what politicizes it. When you attribute it to a president, you have to. So the reason why Biden has to go in and undo everything Trump did, because it shows that he's not Trump. You know what I mean? That's all it is. There's a reason why he had to leave the border wall all there and not use any of Trump's border wall, but spend new taxpayer money for new border wall to then be put up, because you cannot let him win at anything. That's the political games that they play, you know. Speaking of walls, he was talking about Christians and protecting borders. It's all through the Bible about building walls around your city. You know what I mean? That was an important thing.
Yeah, Nehemiah. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
And it's common sense. You lock your car, you lock your door.
But again, I guess we could just keep watching this.
Die to it. It seems there's something nefarious going on here.
Yep.
That's part of the problem. Is they don't want a secure border. And look, to be honest,
but why? Why do you think they? I don't think it's. What is the? Don't ascribe to malicious intent, which that could be described with incompetence. Right.
Well,
like if we didn't do malicious intent nefarious, and we said they're just incompetent and bureaucratic, then what would the good faith?
The good faith may be, well, people have a right to freedom, right? And they come here, right? While we might say they have a right to freedom, or they personally have a right to freedom, it doesn't mean America needs to provide it to them.
Sure.
It would be better if freedom was a value of the country in which they live.
Sure.
Why don't we export freedom to those countries? Because obviously not everybody can come to America. It's impossible.
Sure.
So why aren't we exporting? Well, that's imperialistic. Oh, you're going to call it imperialistic to export freedom? Really? Is that what you're I mean, so that's what we ought to be trying to do. Now, to be honest, I don't think the Republican Party is all that good on this issue as well. Why? Some in the Republican Party are governed by the Chamber of Commerce. And what does the Chamber of Commerce want? They want cheap labor. Hello?
Yep.
Keep that border open. So it's both parties causing trouble here.
And like you were saying, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go.
I when we were talking before, I actually meant to bring up because I'm an immigrant, and I was in that community before. Starting at a young age, I was working in those
factories,
fruit factories, sausage factories,
cheap labor,
picking blueberries on the farm, in Vineland, know. And you saw them turn a blind eye to
your age,
my age, and the illegals that were there just for the cheap labor. They would have one person in charge of a group. There'll be a group of Hispanics and then the Asian community. They would have one leader and just a bunch of workers.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even have to do no interview or anything like that. It's just straight up cheap labor. And I've heard people in Congress, Nancy Pelosi, and dude with no neck, say that, we need the migrants here so that they can work the farms.
Yep, I've heard them say that too.
Yeah, and I can tell you from the trade standpoint, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, but if you look at the housing shortage, we already know that corporation and investment firms are buying up at mass. But what I think is happening too is also a restructuring of society. In terms of what we were talking about, the Great Reset, that you will have nothing and love it.
You own nothing.
You own nothing and love it, right? So I want everybody listening, pay attention to what's being built around you. It is more communal living. It is very few single family homes being built. And if they are being built, they're more in the mega mansion styles. So these are homes in the 600,000 to $1.5 million range, single family home style.
Right.
What's being built is more, like I said, communal-based apartment-style living.
Yep.
So if you look at that, right, drive by anyone, and you look at the people working there, it is typically or usually always immigrant-based, and usually Latino, Brazilian, Nicaraguan. I can tell you this is the first time that I've seen this. I go to the township meetings, and I can tell you one of the things they do to escape being or to avoid being inspected is they work on the weekends.
Yeah.
Well, state government workers, inspectors, city, town inspectors don't work on the weekends.
Yeah.
But if you have subs and you as a company, you're off, right? But your subs are working Sunday to Saturday, right? Now, we know deadlines of projects and everything like that, but pay attention to, and usually if it's a commercial, like say it's a Wegmans being built or something, all right, they're working, they're union, blah, blah. But these multifamily units, pay attention, they're being built right throughout.
Yeah.
And it's all prefab. It's being built up real quick because the major companies, and I don't want to name them here, but the major home builders are restructuring the family because I know most people aren't having kids as much anymore. So these are apartment style, communal based living. And all of the subs that are being hired to put these ups are usually working on the weekends, late at night, because the builder can then sub the work out very cheap.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all profit. And he is 100% right. Republicans benefit from this. Democrat benefits because they're tied into the investment firms. So they can buy up these land and put up these buildings. They're all prefab. They go up real quick. Within 3 months, you have a whole community.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're hearing you're seeing this a lot with young people. They're like, I can't even. I gotta live with my parents. I went to school all this time. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. You know, housing has like literally doubled.
But that's by design, though.
Right. But so the point is, this happens, and then they bring a solution. But again, those solutions are always going to be something that's short-lived, and also something that they can. If you give yourself over to a nefarious solution or somebody who is nefarious in intent, you might not know it.
Yeah.
They want something in return.
Yep.
It's not for free, even though you think it's for free. So the issue with freedom is that what you think is free is not. What you think freedom actually costs.
Yeah, it comes at a cost.
And true freedom cost, right? And there's a false freedom. Like, I'm reminded of a scripture. I think it's
Excuse me.
Galatians 5. It says, "For you are called to freedom, brothers." So this is talking about believers, right? Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity of the flesh, which is connected to like a way of thinking that's outside, and even think about that's foreign to God, right? So think about, or alien to God, because even in that way, it's about illegal, right?
Right.
It's illegal to God to think in that way.
If you think freedom is do what you want, do what thou wilt.
Yeah, that's not freedom.
That's not freedom.
So only use your freedom as an opportunity. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh or for a way of thinking that is outside of God. But through love, serve one another, right? And this one another has to do with people in that household of thinking, of faith. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. But if you bite and devour one another, watch out that you are not consumed by one another. So the issue is, if you take a house, right? And in that house, there's a leader. And then you have subservient people, which doesn't mean, don't take that in the wrong way, right? You have the hierarchy is husband, then wife, and children, right? And then ages of children, whatever. But in that, there's order, right? And in that order, you work in that order, and from that order comes prosperity or freedom, right? So a child who doesn't have it in himself to do something evil, right? To punch his brother in the face. If he doesn't have that in himself, but it is a law that you don't punch your brother in the face. If you're in that house, you don't have that in you, you'll never punch your brother in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that's a law, you're free from that law, right? That's the point. Like you're free from that law because you don't need that law because it's not in you.
Right.
Those laws are to keep you in check.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no law, then you won't have a guideline of what's good, what's wrong, and what's right, and what to do and what not to do, right? So in a house, you make laws and you make rules. And then your kids are not going to live up to those things. But you don't put it on your kids that you're not living up to it. And now you're shaming them and you say, okay, we're working through this. Yeah, you know you didn't do that. But the hope and the trust that you're putting in the kids is that you didn't live up to that, but I know you will because I am, right? Or even in that, like we know that we don't live up to everything, right? As even fathers in our households. And I'm saying it because we're all fathers, right? But we have God who has. We have Jesus who has. So even in our failings, we learn how to trust him. Right? That's faith. We trust him. So then like when we're learning how to come out of that hypocrisy and we're learning how to come out of that alien way of thinking. We're learning how to come into the household of God, right? But you can't come into the household of God when you want to think the way you want to think. It's foreign to God. See what I mean? You can't come into heaven thinking in a way that's called the flesh, the way you want to think. So now you're separated from God. How do you get back in? You got to trust him. You ain't going to go into, and then people are like, oh, how come you got to do all these things that get me into heaven? Well, it's the same thing as nobody's just going to let you in their house. Right. So this is so biblical in terms of understanding. And most people don't get it because they don't understand God. Right. They look at God as like, oh, he's evil because he puts all these rules on us. No, he puts on all these rules on us that he loves us. And he knows that if you trust him and through him, who's already fulfilled it all, Jesus, that you can live up to this because if you trust him, he's going to change you. He's going to transform you. So we're learning this, right? Through Jesus. But then we're also learning this in our own households, right? And then as we learn this in our households, now we can extend it to other households, right? To our neighbors, to where we're going. They're seeing, man, I like how you do this. I like how you do that. They're seeing this. And I want that for my family. Yeah. You know, and you can talk about, oh, I don't accept people cursing in my house. You know, I let somebody in my house, they curse, and to them, they're free to do it, right? They're free. But in my house, I don't do that, right? And they might not respect it in their heart, right? And care. They might say something like, oh, this dude, he thinks he's better than me. That's not the case, right? But there's a reason why. If you respect me and honor me in that way, in your heart, you'll get it. If you don't, you still got to respect me because if you can't come in my house if you act that way, because I set a boundary, right? So now I'm setting this boundary. You can't come in. If you want to honor it, you can come in. Your heart might not be changed yet. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Your heart might not be changed yet. That's what God does with us. But if you want to keep coming in and you want to be a part of this, your true feelings and your true nature is eventually going to show, right? And so that's how eventually people end up in jail. Like, so think of the country as a greater house. Like, if you come into the country and you're acting like, and you're vetted, because people got to be vetted to come in, right? That's honor. You're vetted because we want to know that you're going to honor this country. Right. So when you come in and you're vetted, you honor this country. You still might end up in jail. Yeah. Because you don't honor it, right? So then you end up in jail because you do whatever you want. It's the same thing. And this is what freedom is about. You lose your freedom, you go to jail because you did whatever you wanted to do. And in this house, there's rules. When you start to think that love is letting people do whatever they want, not only are you neglecting yourself, you're neglecting others. Right. That's not love. Right. You're not loving others.
And you're not leading them into freedom. You're leading them into bondage.
And you're leading yourself into bondage. Yeah. You're literally leading yourself into bondage because the next step is slavery. And that's what's going to happen. Like, power corrupts, right? Unless power is put in check. That was the point of this country, to put power in check, right? A king, he doesn't really have
no one to put him in check.
So this country was created that power, although it was given for a reason, right? To governmental officials, but there was checks and balances that were put in place so that we could rule each other in a way and hold each other accountable in a way, right? But once you start giving that power over to the government or to people, because it's really not the government, it's the people that run the government or the people who have been elected in the government, and they have their own agenda, and you can't discern it and you can't see it because you got your own agenda. You can't be mad because they want to rule over you, and they're doing it because you're giving it to them because you got your own agenda.
Right.
And this is the breakdown of society. This is the breakdown of houses. This is how houses get destroyed. Households get destroyed because everybody in the house is selfish. If you look at a very destructive household, the kids can't trust the parents. The parents, those kids grow up a little bit, they can't trust the kids. Everything, nobody can trust anybody. That's a horrible place to live in. Who wants to live in that place? So now people come over to America because they want to live in a place where there's a semblance of trust, because to a certain extent, you can still trust in the law, right? Meaning like you can trust that a lot of things are going to be, that we're going to hold things accountable here. That's why it thrives. But once those things start to corrode, everything, we're just like everybody else.
Right.
Isn't it interesting how aliens or foreigners or nations, people who come from different places, they all think like, this is what prejudice is. Because I have a culture and a way of doing things, my way is better because it's what I'm used to. It's what I grew up in. So my way, your ways are foreign to my ways. And then I become separated. I can come from somewhere else and then pick this place I came to apart because I think my ways are better. So then why did you come here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw another clip of Cat Williams go viral where he was on stage. I don't know where he was at, but a dude had like a Mexican flag, and he went off on him and like held up an American flag, and he was like, if you love waving that flag so much, why don't you go back there? Why are you here? You know, it was. I gotta see if I can find it because he was basically like pointing that out, like.
Yeah, but I think like even in terms of what God does for us, he teaches us how to love people and be patient with people past our own culture, our own cultural experiences, and how, because that's what separates us really, right?
But we have to be stewards of the house we're in.
Right.
Meaning even the country too.
Right. But even that's what religion is to me. Religion is my way's better than your way. And not saying, no, God's way is better than my way. Because my ways are changing into God's ways, but I still have some ways that are still not his ways. And I got to recognize that. You know what I mean? Because we can really think that, oh, I'm a Christian now, so all my ways are God's ways. No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
What God?
So we're learning.
I think part of it too, going back to how they're restructuring society, is I think in the 80s and we were born in the 80s, so let's look at we know there's a more extensive history about the program of America, but let's start with the 80s and the 90s, because these are the people now that are around our age having babies and stuff like that, and many of them opted out of that because we were presented with the decadence of life, which was Lifestyle Illusion famous, MTV Cribs, Self, clubs, bars, vacations. And I think quietly a lot of people opted out of having family and children. And so the pleasures and the pursuits of life was more important than getting married and having children. People care more about that. So the home life and the idea of buying a home and starting a family dwindled. It was more flood to the cities. There was a time when there was mass people just leaving the city because of extensive crimes in the 80s and 70s and 80s. And then all of a sudden, something happened where people they didn't want to live those life anymore. And shows like Mary Tyler Moore, Sex and the City, you know, and the versions from
Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley, Entourage, all these.
Yeah. What was Three's Company?
They began to shape the ideas that you should live your best life for you, not for the purpose of family or for community. It was about you.
Right.
You should have fun. You're missing out because you're not on a yacht in Saint-Tropez.
And all the shows about family were like torturous.
Right. And that was geared more specifically to whites.
Women.
And then in the 90s, hip hop was used as a tool. Okay, blacks, now it's your turn. And Jay-Z came up with Big Pimpin'.
Yeah.
And on and on and on, and the shows and stuff like that. And secretly, the lust of the eyes, we begin to lust after this. And many people that were raised in Christian homes, even though you guys, some people may not have followed to the T, but you were raised in an environment where there was some sort of teaching. You began to abandon that.
Yeah.
And you started to focus on, well, I'm going to live for me. That's why these sayings, you only live once, level up, be your best. All of these little things start to shape you.
Live your best life.
Live your best life.
How many people say that now?
Begin to shape you, and you begin to reject those things that are of God, because when you don't have a family, you're not going to think of the agenda to turn our kids in a certain way. You don't have none. You're not thinking about pension. You're not going to be around for those things. You're just living for you. So you ever heard this saying that says that when you're young, you're liberal because everything goes, because you know you're part of that club.
Yeah.
When you become,
you're used to getting free shit, so you want more of it.
You're used to it, right? So let's say now you're now you're married and you have children. You're looking for a home. You're looking for a safe school, safe environment. I.e., the man who said you lock your doors, right? Because it's a safety issue. You have young daughters. You have a son. So now all of a sudden you begin to shift into more conservative. But I don't think it's so much attributed to the politics things. It's a natural order thing. As you were a child, you think like a child, and as you are a man, you think like a man. You know what I'm saying? Put those childish things away, and they know that if they can keep you focused on pleasuring yourself, they have you for life.
No responsibilities.
And you're a non-factor.
Yeah, right.
You're going to be a non-factor. You have no children. You have no nothing. Which is why we're seeing right now, we've played this before, most of the people who have been trapped in these ideas of, I'm in the wrong body, transgender, and all this stuff, they're regretting these surgeries.
But at the core of that, what is it? It's self-love. It's fulfilling my self-desire, right? That's the point of it. So again, it doesn't take into account anybody else around you. It only takes you into account, but it doesn't even take you into account, because when you think about it, like, you're going in, you're getting surgeries, you're not taking your body into account in terms of what's going to do to your body, in terms of the long-term effects. You're really not even taking you into account.
Right.
You're actually neglecting and harming yourself.
Infirmities.
Nobody's saying any of this. Yeah.
No, you're thinking of the immediate pleasure of, I'm gonna feel better in my own skin.
Right.
You're thinking of that.
But then our body is a house.
Yeah.
We're destroying our own body.
You know what's so funny? You guys said living our best life. Joel Osteen wrote a book about that. Living your best life.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Joel Osteen, the guy that didn't let people in his church when the hurricane was happening.
Yeah. So the border's crazy. Let's be praying about this.
I think that's key right there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes these things get so overwhelming that we want to turn away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a bit of helplessness too.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. Like, we feel like there's nothing we can do. So we turn away. But I think that's when you want to turn away, you need to turn to God.
Yeah.
When you want to turn away, you need to turn to God and recognize, I can't do this, but you can, God. It's too big for me, but it's not too big for you.
Yeah. Shout out to Stan watching on Rumble. He said, remember, one of the WEF goals, the World Economic Forum, is to bring America's wealth down closer to the rest of the world, quote unquote. That is absolutely true. And he said cartels making money on the border. They really are.
Absolutely are.
Man, we miss having Stan on the podcast. The Black Batman. He'll be back here soon. But shout out, he's watching on Rumble. Shout out to all the people watching on Rumble. Drop a comment in there. I see y'all watching.
It's crazy. Isn't it crazy how like true freedom causes prosperity?
Yeah.
But when you start to put prosperity first,
Yeah.
you lose. It causes a false freedom,
Right.
and then you actually lose that.
It causes
prosperity.
slavery, actually. That's crazy. Let's show this Cat Williams clip real quick. It's going to be a little bit of cussing in here probably. But so this guy right here in the, you could tell clearly he's some kind of Mexican gangster or something.
Orderly.
By his dress.
Yeah, he's got the typical.
Yeah.
He's got all the typical.
He's got the uniform on.
But again, culture, right?
Yeah, culture.
He's living in that culture.
Yep.
To the T.
So Cat wasn't having it.
This is older now.
I don't know when this is from. But it just started going viral. People are digging up everything on him.
Motherfuckers think they can live in this country and then still be allegiance to another fucking country. If you love another country more than you love America, motherfucker, then get to step into that bitch.
Crowd's cheering.
He's so extra theatrical.
Do you remember when white people used to say, go back to Africa, and we had to tell them we don't want to? You little Mexico bitch, get the fuck over there. And as for my Mexican American homies, Viva la Revolución!
He sat down.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see?
That's great. So he goes on a whole rant where he just gets on this dude about waving a Mexican flag.
I would say this. I'm sorry, Chris.
I keep on doing that. Go ahead, go.
I would say this. Me, come from Trinidad. My dad, we would talk about this stuff, and he did tell me specifically that if being in Trinidad, right, there were things, we came here for a reason. That if Trinidad did have it right, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
Right. And although I love Trinidad, my allegiance isn't to Trinidad.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people there's this false sense, but there's a lot of messed up things in that country. And you know what? I am proud to be an American now. And I am proud to be here.
At least I know I'm free.
Right. Because
Did you sing that song too?
No, I didn't sing it, but I was just saying.
No, but they played
song,
it. They
bro.
played it when you got naturalized, right?
They did play. I mean, you have to do the pledge and everything like that.
Being
And you
American.
So
We're at least.
I just want to
No,
speak to
not
like the process of being naturalized, and when you have to take this civics test, and when you have to they actually make you pledge your allegiance and
I think you should
denounce your
Right.
prior country.
I think you should.
But that's what I'm saying is that does something to you to build you up to have a pride in this country that people that are just coming across don't ever have to do.
Sure.
So that's something that they never have to go through
because they're disrespectful.
Right.
It is.
It's disrespectful to come up in somebody's house and start eating their food.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
disrespectful not only just to come up in their house, but to break into the house.
Yeah.
Right.
It's disrespectful.
and then be sending food back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let me
You making a platter to go.
Yeah.
running out the house with food for their family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I was gonna make a point about the whole, waving the flag thing, Trinidadian flag,
Yeah.
Puerto Rican flag. I
Yeah.
think it's more, them being. It's wrong to me,
Yeah.
but it's more of them being prideful of their culture.
Yeah.
That's
and
part of
that's
it.
why they
Yeah.
wave that flag.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I
Yeah.
think it's cool to be like, this is our culture. This is where we came from. These are the things that we want to hold on to. Our foods, our music, our sense of community. Like those things are great, but those are some things that you need to bring into the
Yeah.
culture here and add to the culture
But you're
here.
dishonoring.
You shouldn't separate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because what it does is because one of the points I think that's good that he's making. I don't agree with how he does everything.
Of course.
But one of the things is, if you left there, then everything that was over there wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of the cultural issues that were norms over there were actually cultural breakdowns.
Yeah.
Right? Because it wasn't a thriving culture in those terms. And you got to recognize those things.
Yeah.
And I think we as people, like, if we're so prideful in who we are, again, we'll put our identity in it, right? Yeah. And it's the same thing. You could say it's the same thing as, well, it's even worse when we're saying I'm prideful to be homosexual.
Yeah.
I'm prideful to be a trans person. So now you're gonna put all your identity in that, and that's gonna limit you. It's very bad because it limits your vision, it limits your sight, it limits how you can work in this world. Because now the way you work in this world is based off of what you think that identity is.
It was funny because we were just watching him get on them for the Mexican flag. But what is the flag that they, over the last couple of years, they've been pushing even over the American flag? Like, take down the American flag,
China.
put up this flag. No. What flag do you see them putting up everywhere, Mom?
The pride.
The pride flag.
Pride flag,
China,
yeah.
but China too.
Not China.
I haven't seen no China flags put
That was only
anywhere.
in one place, San Francisco.
Yeah. But yeah, let's move on from this topic. We got to keep it moving. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this ruling. Did you guys see about the ruling that Trump is ordered to pay $83 million for defamation damages to E. Jean Carroll, that crazy lady? Have you seen this?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Who's that?
E. Jean Carroll was the woman that
The 80-year-old woman
accused him of sexually assaulting him in the dressing room at some store, but like all the facts around the case don't line up at all. And she seems like, you didn't remember we played the interview she did on Anderson Cooper where she was sounding all crazy.
Oh yeah.
She won something before, right? Didn't he have to pay like $14 million or something?
Dude, so this is part of this settlement. But the way that they frame this case, like, it shows you how they can weaponize the legal system. Like, he wasn't allowed to present any evidence. When he took the stand as a defendant, he wasn't allowed to say certain things. They could only question him on how much he should be culpable. Like, it was framed in such a way where he wasn't allowed to defend himself. It's crazy. I'm going to show a clip of Patrick Bet-David.
Okay, so if you've read any of my
breaking down a little bit of the crazy anomalies in this case. Let me just get this. This is just an ad real quick, Mom. All right.
Judge was mentor to E. Jean lawyer, conflict of interest appeal.
So the judge was the mentor to E. Jean's lawyer. That's the first thing.
What?
Yes, the judge of the case was her lawyer's mentor.
Isn't that conflict?
That's what he's saying here.
So the Trump Carroll judge was mentor to E. Jean lawyer, conflict of interest appeal expected. I'll read this to you, and then I'm going to show you a clip, which is kind of weird, on how this lady reacts and how Rachel Maddow celebrates, which I understand her being happy because, Rachel Maddow is not the biggest fan of Trump, but the reaction is slightly concerning. So here's the relationship between her and the judge. Donald Trump's legal team is set to use a previously undisclosed conflict of interest as grounds for appealing a recent verdict that orders the former president to pay E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million. Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, told the New York Post she was previously unaware that Manhattan's federal judge, Lewis Kaplan, who presided over the case, worked with Robert Kaplan, Carroll's attorney, at the Paul Weiss Rifkin worked
They sound related too. They're both Kaplans.
and Gerson law firm in the early 90s. Haba says neither the judge nor Robert Kaplan revealed this professional history. It was never disclosed. It's insane and so incestuous, Haba said, asserting the non-disclosed counts as an ethics violation. Early in her career, Roberta worked as an associate at the firm during the same period as Judge Kaplan, was a partner until his 1994 appointment to the federal bench by then President Bill Clinton. 15 facts that people don't know about.
All right, so here are the facts.
Bergdorf Goodman has no surveillance video of the alleged incident. That's 1. 2, there are 0 witnesses to alleged sexual attack. 3, Carol first came forward conveniently with the allegations while promoting her book, What Do We Need Men For, in 2019. 4, Carol was unable to remember when his alleged attack even occurred. She told her lawyer in 2023, this question, the when, the date, has been something I've been constantly trying to pin down. It's pretty strange to say that in 2023. The Donna Karan blazer dress she claims to have worn during the alleged incident was not even available at the time of her claim.
Whoops.
6, she never came forward with these allegations over the years, despite constantly being open about sexuality, posting things that they were very sexual in nature on social media, many of which Trump has shared. 7, she said she was never raped, telling the New York Times podcast, The Daily, every woman gets to choose her word.
I've
Every
seen
woman
that
gets to
clip
choose
where she
how
said, I don't like
describes
that
it.
word.
This is
I'm not
my
saying
way of
that
saying
was...
it. This is my word. The word is my fight. My word is not the victim word. I have not been raped. She continues, I have something that has not been done to me. I fought. That's the thing. She named her cat Vagina. Wow. Out of all the names, you can name her cat.
So did I.
Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow us to put it in there out of all the things. It's kind of weird. You name your cat Vagina. Joe Tacopina, an attorney for Trump, pointed out in May 2023 that Carol's entire story has an incredible similarities to 2012 episode of Law & Order, Special Victims Unit. In that episode titled Theater and Tricks, an individual talks about a rape fantasy in Bergdorf Goodman's The Same Department Store where Carol claims the incident took place. 10, speaking of shows, Carol loved Trump's show The Apprentice. I was a big fan of the show, very impressed by it, she said. 11, Carol made a joke associated...
Would you watch the show of someone that sexually assaulted you and be a big fan of it?
Nope.
Sex and Bergdorf Goodman in a November 1993 edition of Ellie, which was before the alleged Trump attack took place. 12, Carol is finally backed by anti-Trump Democrat mega donor Reid Hoffman, who has openly
Financially
admitted
backed.
to visiting convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's private island. 13,
Whoopsie.
Democrat Party activists back her as well. Instead of Cameron's, okay, we can skip this one. 14, the lawsuit was only able to proceed after Democrat created the Adult Supervisor Act of 2022. And 15, Carol once
So
said,
that act that got Diddy and got all of them, that was created so that she could sue Trump. That's why they created that act.
most people think of rape
She's like in her 80s.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
as sexy. She said that to
Yeah. Yeah. That was what she said on Anderson Cooper. Most people think rape is sexy.
Anderson Cooper. But watch this here.
Okay, so those are those are facts around the case. The other ones are the ones I told you where it was like he wasn't allowed to present evidence.
That's crazy.
They framed these cases in a certain way where the judge was denying all the things that they wanted to present. He was only allowed to take the stand if he could say certain things and only answer certain questions.
So how is this?
There's no video.
How does this even like? The judge allows this
because the judge is a New York, Manhattan liberal judge.
But this isn't even like, how is this lawful?
Because it doesn't. The law is an illusion. The law can be weaponized against any one of us.
Right. But I'm saying like how is this even lawful that this judge isn't held accountable?
Who's going to do it? You're going to have the Department of Justice come down on this judge? They're all on the same team.
They should.
But they're not going to.
This is crazy.
But why are they doing all this now? Because of the election, right?
Exactly. Of course. This is a way to try to either tie up his funds or get him or have a weaponized way to get him removed from ballots. Here, let's listen to what his lawyer said after the verdict came down because she was pretty mad.
I saw that, yeah.
No. I'm glad you asked me that question. No, I'm not having any second thoughts about representing President Trump. It is the proudest thing I could ever do. What I am having second thoughts about is the license that I stand here with that the people in there are supposed to have. I have not spoken because I respect my ethics while I'm on trial. But let me now speak about what has happened. I have sat on trial after trial for months in this state, the state of New York. Attorney General Letitia James, and now this. Weeks. Why? Because President Trump is leading in the polls, and now we see what you get in New York. So don't get it twisted, whoever asked me that question. I am so proud to stand with President Trump. But I am not proud to stand with what I saw in that courtroom. I'm not finished. Let me just finish and I'll take questions, please. Before I walked into court, that judge decided that every single defense President Trump had, we were not allowed to raise in front of the jury. It is in writing, and I encourage the journalists, the real journalists, to take the minute to look at his orders. There was no proof. And I couldn't prove that she didn't bring in the dress. There was no DNA. There was no expert. My experts were denied. Two of them were denied to come in. They didn't let me bring up that Reid Hoffman funded Miss Kaplan. And you know what we got in there? That my witness, who was her friend, who said that she is a drug addict and the drug addict is herself. That friend, I found out in there, was paid for by Miss Kaplan's firm, and that is disgusting. That is a violation of everything I stand for, and that is why I stand with Trump. And that is why so many Americans are so proud that he is running again and so excited to run to the ballot box. But don't get it twisted. We are seeing a violation of our justice system. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not allowed to be stripped of every defense that you have.
It's crazy.
You are not allowed to be told that you can't bring it up. And imagine a point where a judge tells the lawyer, before your client, the former president of the United States, the leading candidate and obvious nominee for the Republican Party, before he takes the stand to defend himself, Ms. Haba, tell me the questions you're going to ask in open court and tell me exactly what he's going to respond. And then edited my questions, edited the response he was allowed to give.
Edited the response.
So what is the point?
Exactly. Because he didn't want any of that to get out in public record. You know, if you can censor what's being said in court, you can keep it from the public. So all they're going to know is the verdict.
Of this corrupt system that I have seen, we will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak. Everybody's a right to defend themselves when they are wrongfully accused and to be able to say, I didn't do it. And to double and triple and quadruple down and say, this is wrong. This is wrong. But we are in the state of New York. We are in a New York jury, and that is why we are seeing these witch hunts, these hoaxes, as he calls them. And this is another one of them.
So you know why? You know what this is? This case was over, right? This is a defamation case because he called her a crazy lady.
Yeah.
You know, and then he lost the. They said he didn't rape her, but he was guilty of what was the verdict that came down on the first trial? It was like they didn't convict him of rape, but they said he was liable for some reason. Like it was that was a weird trial, a weird case.
Do you remember when I got arrested in New York City?
Yep.
It was different than Pennsylvania. We've been arrested, for selling CDs twice, and each time we stood in front of the judge and pled our case. But when I got arrested, I didn't get that chance. I don't know if you were any of you guys were there. I don't know if Dave was there. No. I think you went with me, but you weren't there.
I went with you to do
community service. But the whole system, I didn't even get a chance to plead my case at all. So I don't know the laws like that, but I know that I was in New York City and I didn't get a chance to say anything to anybody except for the prosecutor that was that talked to me before, what do you want to do?
Well, that's That's the point. That's why.
Yeah.
Because it's just like your thing was kind of like.
I know it's minor to this, but
Yeah,
you know,
but that's why. Because for that's different. Like you went in there and you actually when you go in with the prosecutor, you're actually
negotiating.
You're negotiating.
But you could have probably said, "I want to fight it in court."
Yeah, and it would have been different.
And then you would have had to go before the judge.
Because it's kind of like a ticket.
Yeah.
Like when you go and you get a ticket. You know what I mean? You
The
can
prosecutor will try to get you to get a lesser charge, a plea
Right.
down, to just get it out of the way.
do community
But if you say like, no, I want to fight it, they
Yeah.
have to put you in front of the judge.
Because that happened to me before. Like I fought a ticket one time and
But I do remember them saying that you're not gonna, you know, you're pretty much guilty. You're not gonna. Do you want to prolong this or whatever like that?
Well,
That's what they mean by
do.
prolong it. You would have to stay. So they would keep you in jail.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's what the prosecutors do.
Yeah.
They want you to just plead out. So
Yeah. So that they get their conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to you.
Yeah.
But that's not the same thing
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's show the clip of Rachel Maddow that he was talking about.
Before you go,
go.
I was gonna say this, right? You know what's sad? About the state of this country, especially from a judicial standpoint, is that we get to see Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. That we get to see that on TV.
Every minute of it.
And that's sensationalized. And we don't get to see a camera. They won't allow a camera in there because if the camera's in there, people would see it as plain as day. Because they could clearly say, "Oh, she's just saying that because that's her. That's a lawyer.
Right.
She's supposed to say that."
She's supposed to say that. Yeah.
But if we were allowed to see what they're doing, see the judge saying, "Hey, you can't do this, and here you are accusing somebody of doing something, and they can't defend themselves," we have turned this into a charade.
Yep.
That's really what's happening. You know what I mean? That we could see celebrities and their stupid marital or exmarital life play out. But this accusation is serious, and he's, like I said, leading in the polls, and we can't see a judge say on camera, "You can't do this, because it was too obvious that what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? So they don't care. So he's not held accountable. She's not saying his name.
Right.
So we don't know who it is.
And I think it has a lot to do with that, like, because, you know, Trump ran as a Republican, but he really wasn't in with the Republican club. You know, like the last thing we were talking about, most Republicans don't want to fix the border because they campaign on it every time.
And they're involved in these investments that the cheap laborers they can benefit from.
So they fundraise off of it. They make money from their PACs, and they make money from their investors and all these things off of the border. So they're never really going to fix it. So when you got a guy that comes in office and the first thing he's talking about is building a wall, you know, and really trying to do it, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So they have to come up with these other ways to get him out. And I think it's Republicans and Democrats that are trying to get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Once he spoke against George Bush,
yeah,
you know, how many Republicans backed him?
Yeah.
Even he didn't get the vitriol that Trump is getting.
No, not
You know
even
what I mean?
close.
So, yeah.
It shows, man, that all the real psyops is what they're trying to put in people's face with systematic racism.
Yeah.
All these things
Those
that try
are
to
the
get you.
distractions.
But no, the systems are messed up because we're not upholding the system.
Yeah.
The system needs to be upheld. Again, freedom costs you.
Yeah.
And when you start giving it over to people and don't hold them accountable and think, oh, they're just going to do the job that they were put in place to do, you'll find out real quick that those people are going to take advantage because they're not being looked at. How many people do when they're not being looked at? They're going to do a whole lot of sneaky stuff.
Yep.
Although I don't think this, I think the whole racism thing, yes, they're going to play that card, but I don't think it's as cutting deep with especially black folks as it once did. There are, from what I've seen from many of YouTube, Instagram videos, I don't think a lot of younger black people, I'll say from under 50 and under, at least within that demographic, because I've seen plenty of interviews where they're like, no, they're not buying that.
It's turning on them.
And I think this situation, especially for younger black men, is showing them like, oh, So the corruption that we've seen in our community is not just for us.
That's what I was gonna say. I saw
because they've been saying it.
Yeah,
and
I saw an actual video.
It's
with
for
a dude.
anybody they don't want to get ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
They trying to lock Trump up like they lock us. I
Exactly.
heard them say that.
Yeah, that's my point. Because the racism thing is a play, but see how it changes once you start recognizing, well, hold up. We got people coming into our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We got all these illegals now.
Yeah.
It becomes a bigger like, oh, it's not about race.
Yeah.
It's not. This was stuff we were so preoccupied with. This. Wow, we got all these people who we were
waking
voting
up,
for
Jake.
because we thought it was going to help us in our racial plight,
right?
Which was all just a psyop. It's all just it's all just a deflect, right? But what it does is, you guys don't realize you guys are voting these judges in.
Yeah.
You guys are voting these prosecutors in. You guys are voting these
Congress people, these
chief of
senators.
police.
Yeah.
These
mayors.
Yeah, you're voting all these people in.
Are we really voting them in, or they're being put in?
No, they're being voted in
these cities. In these cities,
it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
it's a bit of both.
Yeah, there's some finagling going on, obviously, but the finagling couldn't go on if we were holding them accountable.
Right.
Yeah.
And part of that too is for a lot of the younger black folks who are seeing that it is a psyop, they're watching because it's not so much the white liberal, it's black liberals that are selling it to them.
Yeah.
That there are black gatekeepers. That so they're seeing that. They're seeing Eric Adams.
Yeah.
They're seeing, I don't know the mayor of Chicago, his name, but
I forget his name too.
Lightfoot was
But it
one
was
of them.
Lightfoot before, yeah.
She was the predecessor. But nonetheless, they're seeing the talking points that Obama used being used by so they recognize it because it's been a while now.
Speaking of that, what about that attorney general that was going after Trump in Atlanta, and then they found out that she was giving her secret boyfriend all this money, and she had to apologize.
Like you said, Black Lives Matter was a big sham. No one talks about 90 million gone. Patrisse Cullors retired. The other, so all of these things. I think what has happened is this: the wool over the political and racial wool over a lot of young people have been that has been pulled over. And they're no longer being baited by that. Because even the way Charlemagne is talking, he's not going to be interviewing any Democratic political. I can guarantee you, they're not going to have him.
They just have Vivek on there.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, what does he do? He's always trying to point things out to get people back to this point of picking stupid things
White
apart,
supremacy.
right?
He always tries to
I'm not saying he's the voice of reason, but he has played devil's advocate enough. More than any, compared to like D.L. Hughley or somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's play a little bit. I want to just show people just so you can see this woman in action. This is the Rachel Maddow.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
You've talked about using some of Trump's money that you're about to get to help shore up women's rights. Do you know what that
That's what the lawyers told her to say. She's going to do with Trump's money.
might be, what that might look like?
Yes, Rachel. Yes.
Tell me.
I had such great ideas for all the good I'm going to do with this money. First thing, Rachel, you and I are going to go shopping. We're going to get completely new wardrobes, new shoes, motorcycle for Crowley, new fishing rod for Robbie. Rachel, what do you want? Penthouse? It's yours, Rachel. Penthouse and France? You want France? You want to go fishing in France? No?
They're all trying to laugh this off so that it seems like she's joking.
That is weird.
She's crazy.
All right, okay.
That's a joke.
Look at her face.
Look.
That's a joke.
Look.
Although if me
Her
fishing
handlers.
in France could do something for women's rights, I would take the hit. I would obviously.
Now she mentioned Trump's name. When he won the primary, she's like, we're going to mention that guy.
Right. We're not going to show his speech.
Yeah. But again, this black, this racial stuff, this women stuff, all of these things, man, they get you focused and you don't see anything else.
Yeah.
They get you focused over here and everything is happening behind you.
Yep.
Somebody stabbing you in the back because they don't care about you. It's not love.
Yep.
And that's what we got to realize. It's not love. True love actually will set you free.
Yeah.
True love will bring you into true prosperity. And prosperity doesn't have to do with money. It has to do with flourishing where things flow. It's about real peace, right? It's about peace. In a household that is peaceful, you can trust everybody.
Yeah.
You can't trust anybody. So when people grow up in these households where they can't trust nobody, you know what they do? They're always pointing the finger. They're always saying, "Look over here.
Yeah.
Did you know about this?
Yeah.
Were you looking at this?" Because you think that I'm going to be the best defense for myself if I
Right.
can find out what's wrong with everything.
I'm going to see everything coming.
But no, you can never see everything coming because the moment you're looking at this, something's coming behind your back. You can't look at everything. The way you have to see it is you have to look at the good. You have to focus on the good, right? That's the point. You focus on what's real. You focus on the real thing. What do we have? We have a constitution, right? We have a system that can work for us. Well, we got to be responsible and make it work for us.
Yep.
Don't be complaining about a system that don't work. You're an American. Let's make it work.
Especially if you don't participate in it.
Yeah. You can't be mad when you don't want to do nothing in your house and your house is a mess. Start cleaning up.
Yeah. But in a weird, ironic twist, I think what has happened for a lot of people, as me being in the contracting world and talking to a lot of guys, these are trade guys and stuff like, what has happened is this. These are very right-leaning people. What has happened is this. They have seen this vitriol and this venom coming from the left where you can't even ask questions.
Yeah.
You can't even talk. So over time, slowly but surely, they realize that we're not going to get anywhere if I can't even ask you why.
Yeah.
I can't even question certain things. So in a weird way, a lot of what we've seen, the lootings, the protesting, the pink-haired lady screaming at some person, the arguing over political ideologies, it's actually turned a lot of people who were sort of teeter-tottering on the fence. See, they've seen that, whoa, I don't want to live in a system where I'm being forced. So a lot of these people who are kind of pro-union, pro-Democrat, pro-left, per se, they realize that they can't have an opinion. They can't even. They can't say nothing. You're the enemy automatically. You're a male, specifically if you're white.
Yeah.
Right. Your thoughts and your verbiage is not needed.
Yeah.
No need apply. So slowly, what has happened is this: when we start watching this wildfire, sometimes it's chaotic to look at a fire, but when the fire is done, life actually comes from that. I'm talking about a wildfire in the forest. You see a fire and you're like, whoa, that's devastating. This is terrible. No one shows months after when the rain has fallen is actually growth.
Yeah.
And I think what happens here is a lot of the people who are like, maybe they've grown up in a certain household, certain political ideology, and they're just kind of co-opted that and they're riding along with it. As time begins to progress and they see that, whoa, we're in a space where I can't even ask what transgenders, I can't even ask where the money is going. I can't even ask about the border because I'm xenophobic.
Right.
I can't even say, hey, I don't want that guy going into this bathroom with these little girls. I can't say nothing. I'm just supposed to go with it.
Yep.
And if I do, I'm a racist, I'm sexist, I'm womanist, I'm this, I'm an ist.
I can't say a 9-month-old baby being aborted is wrong.
I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
You're a phobic.
You're a phobic.
You're some phobic.
Some kind of a
or bigot or misogynist.
Right. So I think a lot of that has slowly woken people up and been like, wait a minute here now.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that don't sound like freedom to me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the enemy automatically.
Yeah. Denver said the Constitution and laws are only to control us. This party has immunity and change the rules as they see fit to benefit them. That's what it's seeming like. I'm gonna play one more video of this lady,
or not abiding by the rules
that everyone was sending around.
And on that side, on the door are the list of my dogs: Marky, Fortuna de la Spunky, Heidi, Tits.
He pulled down his pants.
Unzipped.
He unzipped his pants.
That was her house. Hold on, let me go back to the beginning.
She got a dog named Tits and a cat
named Vagina. Yes. This is the beginning. So
You can't think in New York if you're dating 16 people, which I would be doing if I were in New York. I call it the mouse house because some very distinguished mice live here. This is my shed. And on that side, on the door are the list of my dogs. Marky, Fortuna de la Spunky, Heidi, Tits.
He pulled down his pants.
No, just unzipped.
He unzipped his pants. And this is beyond sexual. I mean, legally, he raped you.
I don't use the word. I have difficulty with the word.
Can you stop for a second?
yeah.
You see how the anchor is helping her?
Yes.
I mean, she's helping her.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
This is not journalism anymore.
But this is the crazy part. She's so crazy that she doesn't want the help.
She's helping her remind her.
Yeah,
What else did he do? Didn't
I don't
he
like
do
that
this?
word. I don't like that word.
And she's going to say no.
Yeah.
I
you think
see it
that
as a fight.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just you know.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around.
he's like, she's an idiot. I'm trying to help her. She's so dumb. I'm trying to help her.
That woman is not right.
But yeah, clearly.
But the news anchors, they're trying to help her. They're like,
oh, bro, this was everything they wanted at the time. He
All
would.
the people that, not that he's going to do it, but all the people that President Trump would have, that lady, come on.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things he said. He said something about like
she's a pig.
in the deposition.
She's a monster.
In the deposition, like there was video of it where he was like, and then he said it to the person asking the question. He was like, I would never go for her, like you. I would never go for you either. But
you can't help it.
Can't help it.
You're
He was
ugly.
like, no offense, but I wouldn't go for you either. Like,
mean in the most politest way.
Yeah.
How much they're paying her.
Let's show this. So meanwhile, while all that's going on, breaking, former President Donald Trump has been nominated by Rep. Claudia Tenney for a Nobel Peace Prize for his Abraham Accords and his timeless efforts to bring peace to the Middle East. So he's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
If this ain't the most schizophrenic
Bruh.
stuff going on in this world.
We're in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's all over the place. All over the place, man.
That's
Wow.
why I need to pray.
Yep. Oh, I wanted to show y'all this too. So, just came out. This is by the Gateway Pundit. So this is the report. The January 6th pipe bomber was a quote unquote former government official. FBI had his license plate number, but refused to interview him. This is the surveillance footage of the guy. So over 3 years ago on January 5th, a suspect planted pipe bombs near the Washington, D.C. RNC and DNC headquarters the night before the January 6th protests. The U.S. Capitol was shut down. Why would you plan it the night before? So on January 6th, after the feds found the bombs near the Republican and Democrat Party headquarters, and we all know that this was like the main threat. This is why they evacuated everyone. This is why AOC had made up that whole story about someone coming in her thing, talking about where is she? I'm going to kill her. As previously reported, a mysterious suspect planted 2 pipe bombs at the RNC and DNC headquarters and safely detonated by a bomb squad on January 6th. The FBI continued to drip out new videos of the suspect who placed the 2 pipe bombs at DNC night before the Capitol. A whistleblower stepped forward in 2022 and disclosed that the FBI was withholding information on the investigation. In 2023, the FBI finally offered a $500,000 reward for information on the alleged bomber. Maybe they need to check who was on duty that night. The culprit was caught on video but never caught by the FBI, the greatest intelligence service in the world. So now we know why. FBI whistleblower Kyle Serafin reported in May 2023, that the technicians who worked on the program told him the devices were inoperable. It was likely just a propaganda operation used to attack Trump supporters, planned and sanctioned by the deep state. May 2023, Representative Jim Jordan, Andy Biggs, and Bill Posey sent a letter to the Federal Bureau of Investigation demanding on an update for the case of January 6th pipe bomb. Let's see where it gets to part. One former FBI. Yeah, I don't know. But apparently the guy in the report that they have, the bomber was a former government official. And the FBI had his license plate but refused to interview him.
Right. There's a lot more of this is going to happen, you know, with governmental agents who are against. If he does win, I would say we're going to see a lot more of these little infractions coming about.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going to be agents that are doing it. Like someone posted something on Instagram and it was the most well-organized racist. It looked like they all went and they all got this stuff real organized. It's so obvious it's agents.
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
They got all the uniforms.
Everything is so perfect.
Yeah. It's all crystal
They can't
clean.
help it.
Right.
It's so obvious that they're not random white supremacists.
Right.
That they're.
It's so funny how they had so many agents, right?
Yeah.
FBI agents in this thing, but yet FBI is allocating everything they have to this.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yet to the point where they're neglecting things like important things, like child trafficking, right, or sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Period. They're allocating so many resources to this.
That's what's sad.
But that's the other point is like, look at how they're weaponizing the justice system to go after those people.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing the same thing that they did to Trump.
Yeah.
A lot of these people that got jail time, their trials were the same way, where like they weren't allowed to present any evidence. They basically got sat in front of a judge to talk about how they were going to be convicted and how they were going to plead. Like they weren't allowed to have a fair trial.
Right.
Well, that's because of what?
Corruption.
Yeah.
No, that's because of, isn't it? What was it called? The Freedom Act.
Was it the Freedom Act? I don't know.
The thing
Patriot
that got
Act?
put, the Patriot Act. There you go. Yeah, right. The thing that got put into place
under George Bush.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why.
Because of 9/11.
Because they call it a terrorist attack, right? Or a terrorist
insurrection
attack against the democracy. Our democracy.
Right. And which is something that we said when the Patriot Act was passed, that they were going to use this to weaponize it against American citizens. And then
That's
you see
exactly
something like
Years
this.
later, it is.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, you know, for people struggling to understand this, it's exactly what we're talking about when you look at California. There's no money in actual fixing the problem.
Yeah.
The money is in the prep around fixing the problem. That's what it is. So if you're asking yourself, why would FBI agents or CIA agents or governmental bodies be interested in this? Well, they're tied into defense contractors. They're tied into whatever it is that offshore accounts. They're tied into so many things that they're not going to give up this amount of money. That's all they're probably getting out of it.
It's the same thing with war, right? Why are we in like 4 wars right now? Because it makes money.
Yeah, defense contractors there's billions of dollars.
They're not finding resolution
there's
to
profit.
peace. There's profit in bombing these countries.
Yeah. A missile. Patrick Bet David actually broke down that. He's a former military man himself. He broke down why these politicians, after especially when they're in office, but usually when they leave, they go sit on the board of defense contractors. They go sit on the board of pharmaceutical companies,
Boeing,
all of the new tech companies. They go sit on the board of them. They're getting huge amounts of money and massive amounts of cash incentive to do this. So, whereas 40, 50 years ago there was multiple defense contractors, now there's like 4 or 6. You know what I mean? And so a missile, they would all compete to make a missile for, let's say, an average missile costs like $500 or whatever it is. Back then, don't quote me on that. I'm just using a number.
5 million.
Or whatever it costs. Now that same thing is $50,000 for one, right? Because you only got 3 or 4 people to go to.
Right.
Well, this is a win for defense contractors, and if you have a former politician sitting on the board, he already has a connection.
Or she.
Yeah, that's a good word. It's equality right here.
Well, no, we're talking about Nikki Haley.
Talking about
She literally
no,
sat
I
on
know,
the
but
board,
I'm saying like usually
Yeah.
we think it's usually men, but
Yeah.
who's really a Democrat?
Right?
Yeah.
They love her. But my point is, the reason they're doing this is because there's a massive cash incentive. I remember when I was working in loss prevention, one thing that happened was I moved up the ladder and I became a manager. And I mean,
Because you started gripping people up.
I was doing really good.
Yeah.
But I was doing as I was moving up the ladder, I realized one thing. I remember this former military man came in and he said, to be honest with you, he's like, you're never gonna go to regional or like district or regional, because what they're doing is they're hiring former police officers. They're hiring because it looks better on paper.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because Kmart at the time, they're gonna write off all this stuff that you're working so hard that they give you that. So that's what I was saying. When you think of things from a level perspective, the lower level cop, lower level agents, they're not gonna know. They're just working for a paycheck and to move up the ladder. But the plan is already, it's in motion. They're just figureheads, right? When he told me this, he said, "You're as much as shrinkers you try to stop in this store, they're gonna write all this off. They just need to prove that they did enough to at least reduce shrink, right? So this is what's happening here. And these cops and these agents that are playing along with this, they're thinking about promotion. They're just thinking about themselves in this. But it's really the senators and the people they're going to be sitting on the boards of Boeing, or they're going to be the liaison between the government and the defense contractors. They're the people that are selling out this country.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And meanwhile, Joe Biden doesn't even know who's the president right now.
No. Obama is.
No, literally. Like this is him right here.
That American consumers are facing real confidence in our economy we're building. Let me tell you who else is noticing that. Donald Trump. Did you see what he recently said about that he wants to see the economy crash this year? A sitting president. As they say in my face, bless me, Father.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
A sitting president.
He is.
That's wow. That's not an old clip.
No, bro. This is C-SPAN 2024.
I can't believe that. Oh, Lord. They probably were cringing when he said that.
No, all the cue boards lit up. They went crazy, bro. When he said that, the cue boards went crazy.
Wow, he said so much stuff. Like, they don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
They're used to it.
He's
now.
old.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of the stuff you gave me, Jake. Let me just make sure I didn't have nothing else here that I wanted to show real quick.
I mean, I don't have to.
Okay.
He's looking.
We spent a lot of time on the border, looking at the time. Yeah,
we can save it. It's nothing.
Yeah, we'll save it.
Crazy.
Ilhan, I'll just wrap it up on this then. Ilhan Omar, because I put this in the title, was trending to expel her from Congress because I don't know if you guys saw that she came out making a statement about how she is. We were just talking about this. Her loyalty lies with Somalia, and she said my order of loyalty is Somalia, then Islam. She never mentions the U.S. at all.
Wow.
And
but how do we get?
She called in the speech. She's talking to people in Minnesota. I'll just play a little bit of this real quick, just so y'all can see this. She's talking to people in Minnesota.
In caawa aan fursad u helay madaxweynaheena madaxweynaha Soomaaliya
Our president, the president of Somalia.
madaxweyne Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud inaan maanta ku soo dhaweyno Minneapolis. Aniga iyo madaxweynaha special relationship aan qabnaa. Aniga adeeraan ugu wacaa asigana gabarteeyu idhahaa. madaxweyne sidii qof kasta uu yiri mininkaaga waaye ku soo dhawow Minneapolis. aad iyo aad aan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta madaxweynaheena aad tahay. Soomaaliya dadka meeshaan wada joogo dhan waa gurigooda annaga ma dareensannihin in ay naga tahay meel naga fog. Soomaaliya wadnaheenay ku nooshahay, qalbigeenay ku jirtaa, maalin kasta aan ka fikirnaa Soomaaliya.
Yeah, so we were just talking about this, about disrespect and coming in. And when you look at what's happening in Minneapolis, they're setting up a little Islamic, like
with Sharia law,
little Somalia there,
Yeah.
with trying to implement Sharia law. They have no-go zones, and she's now saying that the president of Somalia is our president. This is our home in Minneapolis. He's welcome here.
And go back to Somalia.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what I'm saying.
They're benefiting from America, and this is why it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
You're benefiting from everything that you have in America, but yet you have allegiance to Somalia. Go back to Somalia.
Yep.
Build that up. Do what you want to do over
But
there.
why did you flee there to come here?
Yeah.
She came here as a refugee.
Yep.
Seems like they're coming here benefiting for everything, and then they smack
Because
America in the face.
because their country is crap right now.
Right, but then they smack America in the face.
What?
I just thought of Trump.
Yeah, it's the truth though. Like
shithole country.
Yeah, right now, their country is crap.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because of the bad decisions they made, because of things that got in their way.
But they won't say that though.
Because of all the fighting, right? All the arguing. We just read about what happens when you take freedom for granted, right? And when you start acting like you deserve things,
Yeah.
right? This is in the Bible,
Yeah.
telling us that this is why you're fighting. This is why you argue, because you care about your own selfish desires, because you care about what you think is right.
Yeah. We got to call, I mean, we're doing it, but more Americans, if you love this country, you have to call out this nonsense.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what we're doing here.
Yeah. That's why we're doing this.
I'm a foreigner, and my allegiance is to this country.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm benefiting from
You too, right?
From this country.
Of course.
He's like,
And I'm proud to be an American.
No, and it's not on some like I so love America, nothing like that. It's
Yeah.
more to do with like I'm here because my country couldn't provide what this country is.
Yeah.
And I have a family here. I have my children here. I got married here. You guys, and I think the main thing is this kind of language that's being displayed. Americans need to speak up about this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There's
And-
nothing. Go ahead.
And the only place that you can do stuff like this, like speak bad about a leader
The place-
or
the
or
place you
the place
live.
She couldn't do
the
that in
place
her own country.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, this place is not. I tell people this all the time, man. I'm from a country where you get killed for speaking your mind. Like there's a democratic election, but is it really
right?
It's like it's not perfect, but there's freedom here that you do not have in other countries. That's why you see people from other countries, like we're having issues right now, coming into this country.
Yeah. Sad to say, what's happening is I don't think, because we understand a third world setting and you guys have traveled, so you get that. I don't think a lot of Americans understand that.
Yeah.
So they're getting a glimpse of it now because obviously these type of politicians are brave enough to say this kind of stuff, right? So when you come from that world where just speaking about your leader or the inadequacies or the things that they're doing wrong can lead to your death.
Or imprisonment.
And that's why they're over here. They're leaving those countries
Right.
because of that. And they're here and they're now doing the same exact thing they left those countries for.
And then praising their country.
Come on now. We have to call that out.
Yeah.
You know, we have to say no.
Well, if she doesn't get called out for that, this one might get her. This is her best friend right here. And what he says, it's pretty bad.
تتجلى في غزة أيضا عب أيو إلهي إنك تصنع سيدي نمكاس أقلب أدقيهين يسيدي أن حريس تريهين يسيدي أخلاق حيهين يسيدي أبناء القردة والخنازير يهين إلهي إنك تصنع غزة أيو إلهي إنك تصنع وحي سمينيا.
You didn't catch that.
She's smiling the whole time.
Well, no, that's a picture of them two together.
Oh.
Yeah, that's them two together in a couple pictures. People are trying to show that
Not
they're
the
friends.
same place. Is
No,
that the
no,
same speech?
not the same speech.
Oh, okay. That's him just-
That's
Oh, that's
him
him-
giving a
that's him
speech.
there. Freestyling right there.
That's
All
him
right.
giving a speech, but they're connecting her to him, showing that she's friends with him, and this is how he thinks.
Right.
And she's been caught saying questionable things, and we know like she can talk about America all she wants, but as soon as she aligns herself with someone calling Jews monkeys and pigs, that's going to be a problem.
They're going to let it happen, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Ilhan Omar tells Somalians that she is Somalian first, Muslim second, and no, America wasn't even mentioned.
Religion, there's something I heard Tommy say to them. Religion kills the anointing, right? And politics, the spirit of religion kills the anointing, and the spirit of politics kills the anointed. And I think that's what we're seeing with Islam when it becomes political.
Yeah.
And it grabs a hold because you have the religion connected to the politics.
Yeah.
It wants to kill everything that comes against it or that shines in truth.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. That's why they killed Jesus. You know, he was showing the truth and they didn't want to see the truth and they killed him.
Yeah.
And because the thing with a lot of the thing that this country does, Muslims got to act different over here. The way they act in their own country, they can't act like that over here. And I'm not saying all Muslims are the same, because they're not, because there's different, they come from different places and they don't hold to certain things. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like this guy right here, like obviously he's hostile, because that's for you to say that. I can imagine how many other things you say, right, that are straight up hostile. You're othering somebody. When you say you're pigs and dogs, you're literally
he said they're descendants
of monkeys
and
pigs. That's what he's. But when you're doing that, you are literally saying you're not a human. You're not something to be respected. I can kill you. It's okay.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
And
if you can do that with them, you can do that with other people. You'll make up excuses to do that with other people.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's wild.
And that's why religion becoming political is deadly. Religion becoming political. I'll say the spirit of religion, because a spirit has to do with what we're flowing in, right? What we're moving in. And it's not just Islam. I'm talking about anything, because LGQT, I'm not even doing it right.
Yeah.
That's a religion. LGBTQRS.
Yeah.
It's a religion, right? When you start to hear things from people, and the moment they say one thing or they say, I don't agree with you, you're a bigot. You're a homophobe. Don't they say you're an Islamophobe?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? So they can other you and put you in judgment, put you in condemnation. And if they can condemn you and judge you, well, the next step is prison or killing, right? That's what politics do. So when you give people the power, when these people are calling you homophobes, they're calling you Islamophobes. What other phobias do they call you? Transphobes. When they're able to say that, and then you give these people political power. Xenophobe.
Yeah.
When you're giving these people political power, what happens? The next step is prison, right, and killing.
How do they get to just change language, man? Phobia is something you're fearful of.
Because we allowed it to change.
Yep. Because we don't hold them accountable.
You know what I'm saying?
Changing language is
homophobic. I'm not scared of
Because we censor ourselves.
Yes.
If we start saying, right now we start saying asylum seekers, that's the whole purpose of it.
Yep.
What it does, it brings confusion.
Right.
Because when you hear the word the next time and it doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean and nobody corrects that, it's confusion.
And then it becomes language. When it's said over and over and over again and no one ever corrects it, it just becomes a part of the lexicon. And we all start using it.
Yeah, it happened.
I'm going to start saying Christian phobe.
You don't have a news network, the Chang Network. No, Jamie and I talk about this a lot when him and I would talk about marriage. and where men seceded to women's authority was when other men, it wasn't women who demanded this. Women may have had a part in it, but it was other men who made put other men in check and fall under an authority that they were under, which was this. Remember, man, she's always right.
Yep.
Oh, don't say that. What they were doing was they were under subjugation, and they were trying to get other people to get under that same subjugation. You see what I'm saying? It's a familiar spirit right there. So I remember distinctively being at a wedding, and an older man, Shaniqua and I were there. We were dating at the time. And for some reason, he felt the need to talk to us. But along the way, his advice to me was, she's always right.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, no, she's not. She's not God. And Shaniqua gave me the look, because this is something that women are also used to hearing this. Now, again, women they may have had a part in it, but they didn't advocate it the way other men tried to subjugate other men by verbiage. We were talking about language, how it changes. It's when you co-sign it and say, yeah, man, you're right, yeah, man. She's always right. That's when you co-sign that nonsense. And so she looked at me like, and I was like, you make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
What do you want me to tell you? Like, but here's his response. He's like, oh man, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Now he immediately sided with her to be like, man, he. But as soon as she left, and there was a time when I was by myself, he came up to me like, man, I agree with you, brother. We got it, man. These women. I was like, don't do that now.
Right.
No, because she's not here. Don't do that now. You were trying to get me. And I did it in such a way to playfully let him know a few minutes ago, she was unbelievable, the most right woman you never met before.
But what is he doing? He's virtue signaling to her.
That's what he's doing.
I'm a good guy.
Men don't check other men on foolishness.
Yeah.
And women don't check other women on foolishness. When women are talking foolish talk to each other, no woman says, no, you're wrong. You shouldn't talk to your husband that way. You shouldn't behave that way. You shouldn't carry yourself that way. You got the girl squad. You got the sisterhood.
Yeah.
And men do it too. Men do it too. We all co-sign that stuff. We sit around here and talk about the strip club and talk about what we hit in Miami.
Quote unquote locker room talk. Yeah.
Locker room talk, which is what got Trump in trouble.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
Although we may agree with his politics, they use Trump's natural sin nature, which is locker room language, to trap him, because he's in that world. Make no mistake that he's a man. He's fleshlight. He's not an evangelical, as they like to make it seem, and that's not even a thing per se. But that they know.
No, you're good.
They know that language, they can trap you in that.
Yeah.
And it's when men don't stand up and say, hey, listen, don't, like he was talking about, I don't have a problem with you cursing, but not in this house.
Yeah.
You don't curse here.
Yeah.
Now, you could be angry at me, I understand that, but take it out there. Don't do that. Respect this place. This is a place of honor.
Yeah.
It's when men don't stand up in a rightful place, the language, and you just sit along, go along, well, yeah, I agree. That is a penis, but it could be a vagina.
Right.
Then you wonder why this is happening, because you don't stand up. And when I did that to him, I myself didn't even know why I just knew that if I co-sign that, what I'm essentially doing is giving Shaniqua the authority.
Yeah.
Right? Now, she didn't ask for the authority. I'm giving it to her.
Yeah.
Go back to the Bible with Adam and Eve. Adam gave the authority to her.
Yeah.
He didn't wrestle it from her.
You see this? This is accountability right now.
We're
not blaming, we identify as men.
Right.
We're saying men are the problem.
Now let me say this. My thing wasn't to lord over her. It was just setting order. His house is out of order, and he's trying to destroy my house.
Yeah.
But
he's trying to do that.
But see, even like men aren't like women in that. What you're saying, you are giving her the authority, but you're actually not. You're actually giving the idea an authority. You're actually giving that idea authority over you.
Right.
So like what I'm saying is that it's the idea or the image that they want you to play into. The image, because when people say stuff, it creates an image. Now I'm subservient to this image. Oh, you're right. Women, okay, that's how I gotta do it. Weak men, that's what happens to weak men. Right. That's how weak men are. Why did kings cut off the balls of men? Why did he make them eunuchs? I was talking to my mom about this. Why would kings make men eunuchs?
No threat.
Because they're weak.
Yeah.
What comes from your balls? Testosterone,
Mm-hmm.
right? But also your seed.
Mm-hmm.
Your seed is your word.
Yeah.
See what I'm? So your seed is your strength because your strength is in your seed. Your strength continues.
Mm-hmm.
Your seed continues. Your word continues. Right? But when you have no seed, you have no word, it dies out. That's the point. Most people are looking at strength right now, but you're going to get old.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about like in terms of like, oh, I'm strong. You're going to get old. You're going to get weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your strength is in your word.
Mm-hmm.
Because your word goes from generation to generation to generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
Your word is eternal if you give yourself to the eternal. If you give yourself over to weakness, your word's going to be weak, right? When you become subservient to something that seems strong but is actually weak, your word's weak,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what we've done as men. We've given ourselves over to images that made sense to us. Why? Because we haven't been raised up
Right.
by men a lot of times. A lot of times we've been raised up by just women.
Mm-hmm.
And a man who hasn't been raised up by a man because he's weak.
And his response, his behavior.
Yeah, he's weak. He doesn't know how to stand. He doesn't know how to like look at something and judge it right. The moment what feminism does, what a woman raising you does, because women jump to conclusions, they jump to the images, but it's not the true image, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want the man to look like something, and now they're putting it on you to look like this thing. That's what they're always doing. They're always, so that when they're raising their kids, they're raising their sons, they're raising them to look like an image, but they don't know the workings and the process of how to get there.
Mm.
They just want them to be this image that they see.
It actually backfires.
And
It make them into son husbands.
Yeah.
Because now they're pushing the man to be, this is religion too. You're pushing the man to be something, but you're not getting them to the place to be the thing that you want them to be. So now you belittle them, and then you're like, oh, get out the way, I'll do it.
Right.
Because you think you can do the thing that is for a man that you really can't do as a woman.
Yeah.
But you empower yourself because it doesn't look like what you thought it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is because you're not the one that can raise the boy. It's the man.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or usher him in from boyhood to manhood.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think it's necessarily women looking for this. The idea becomes attractive.
Yeah.
Because it's who doesn't like power, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of it is even when you look at a man that's completely subservient in his relationship, that authority, the women are usually turned off by that guy.
Yeah.
Like they're not even believers.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not believers. They're actually atheists. They're turned off by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're turned off. There's whole genres of pornography about men who are they're just to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right?
Well, that's the bad boy.
Yeah.
But see how that's the false image?
Yeah.
It looks like strength, right? It looks like the bad boy looks like strength. He looks like protection, but in the end, he's gonna leave you vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because he's not really protecting you.
And he doesn't understand what to do.
Yeah.
It's just a momentary protection, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not really going to care for you.
Yeah.
He's going to care for you in the moment because he's only trying to prove, because the bad boy was raised by that woman.
Mm-hmm.
He has the uniform.
Right.
You guys ever seen when the American soldiers, they filmed it? This is during the first Iraqi war. They were training the Iraqi soldiers to defend themselves. And they had them out there to do jumping jacks and pull-ups. And it was the most unathletic
I've seen that,
guys.
yeah.
And this was real footage. It wasn't them. This is in the 90s.
Right.
They were just filming because they're not ready for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You are not gonna, like, when you send off a kid here to go to basic training, they're already soldiers.
Yeah.
They've already been given a gun, and now you're trying to train them to be that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, there's a war coming. We got 2 days to get you guys into shape.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So the whole point of what I'm trying to say is about language is if you start going along with the language, going along with the rhetoric, you can't be mad at the end result because you went along with it.
Yeah.
You never stood up. And that's about being a man, is standing up when no one else is going to do it. You have to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And when you stand up, here's the kicker. When you stand up, if you don't really know what you're talking about and you haven't been proven and you haven't been tested, then you're going to fall down real quick because somebody's going to find you out.
Yeah.
Somebody who's real is going to find you out. Doesn't even mean somebody who's been through battles is going to find you out, right? Because real recognizes real. But that doesn't meaning like you think you're going to be able to come against the devil? No.
Not on your own.
No, you're not going to be able to come against the devil.
Right.
So you're going to be, but you could try. You can stand up. But the key is that when we learn to realize that our power and our strength is in Christ, right? So I stand, and even though I might fall, and even though I might mess up, and I might get it wrong, I can go back to him and he can raise me back up again. Right. And I won't stay in shame because I recognize that if I look at myself, I'm going to stay in shame. Right. But if I'm looking at him, he's my hope. So I got something to look forward to. But when we have an image that we're trying to live up to, then we're always going to be caught up in shame, and we're always going to be trying to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we're going to lie to ourselves. And that's what so many men do. We lie to ourselves, and then we got to make this false image. Oh, no, it wasn't that. It was them. They did this. You start creating this whole false thing around you. This is what Islam does a lot. Sorry to call out Islam, but this is what they do a lot. Because when you'll talk to Islamic people about basic things, they can't even hear it. Or like, bro, people who are in Islam, like where they're so into it, you'll try to talk to them about basic things. Like they'll ask you a question and you'll explain it and then you'll go through it. You have to talk to them 4 hours about a simple concept because they won't receive it because they're lying to themselves over and over again, over and over again. Mormonism. Same thing with Mormonism. Same thing with Jehovah's Witness, right? You're showing them plain. It's plain to see, but they don't want to see it because it's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of image. See what I mean? That's the problem. But when you are truly a strong man, your strength, again, it's not in yourself. It's in the one who's raising you. So you know that, okay, wow, I didn't see that before. Let me go back to my Father. Let me go back to my God. Let me go back to my Father so he can show me.
Which is why family is important, because it's both literal and figurative.
Yeah.
There's the spiritual father, which is going to the word and reading and receiving. And then if things were in the order of a family, you could go to your father for counseling. Because maybe you want to react a certain way. You go talk to your dad and your dad's like,
chill. Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yep.
You know
he's
what I mean?
going to give you a perspective that you may not have.
So it's a two-part thing there.
Right. Yeah, man. All right, let's wrap it up there, man. That's good stuff. We're at 2 hours and 32 minutes in. That was a good conversation. A lot of stuff going on, man. So much stuff we didn't get to. We'll hold on to some of the stuff for next week. And hopefully oh, there we go. We're back. Lost audio for a second, but let's just wrap it up there. The equipment wants us to be done. But thank you guys for watching. Those that have stuck with us the whole time. I see a bunch of people still on Facebook, still on Rumble. I see a couple on Instagram still. YouTube as well. So guys, if you've been watching, we appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, please. Let people know if you appreciate conversations like this, talking about real issues, talking about, you know, being vulnerable about things, and not being afraid of the censors. But in order to do that, we need y'all support. So if you want to get behind these type of conversations and be a part of it, you can go over to our Patreon, and for as little as $3 a month, you can become a member over there. Sign up for the Pride. Be a young lion, get brought into the pride of the young lions. And then also, if you want to get merch and all that stuff, it's all in the link in the description. Other than that, we have a show coming up if you're in the Philly, Jersey area on Leap Day, February 29th at the City Winery in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We will be performing live. It's going to be a great show. People are buying tickets like crazy. So head on over to the City Winery website. You can look up the date and the events, February 29th, and then you can get your tickets there before they're gone. We'll see you guys over there live. Other than that, man, appreciate everybody for being here tonight. It was good having a nice little full room here, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room.